And we welcome you on a cool, rainy night in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We're at Miller Park. The roof is closed up, and division rivals are here. It's the Brew Crew and the St. Louis Cardinals tonight. And the Brewers coming off a series win against the Pittsburgh Pirates, all decked out in gold and ready to continue this 9-game homestand. And hi, everybody. We welcome you from Miller Park alongside Bill Schroeder. I'm Brian Anderson. Great to have you with us tonight. The Brewers and the Cardinals ready to square off for 4 in a row. And Rock, the Brewers have won 8 of their last home games here. They're starting to play much better baseball. And it is an unusual group who is getting the job done. The big three, if you will.
Well, and again, you never know who it's going to be to step up with Corey Hart. Aramis Ramirez out. And 3 guys have been outstanding. And you never really figured it going in. Gene Segura, the Brewers Player of the Month of April, has been a huge surprise. Third in the National League in batting average. He's been a key component. A lot of rallies, 8 stolen bases. Carlos Gomez, who started this good run this year in April against these Cardinals back in St. Louis. He's second in the National League in batting average, having a great start to his season. And Uni Betancourt, where would the Brewers be without Betancourt? Late spring training pickup. He got votes for the National League Player of the Month. He's got 7 home runs, 22 RBIs. It's been a lot of fun watching these 3 guys go at it.
Segura, Gomez, Betancourt, all in the lineup tonight. The Brewers welcoming the Cardinals, and Willie Peralta on the mound, ready to face the Cardinals for the very first time of his career. More with Craig and Augie when we continue. They'll talk pitching.
Wisconsin is brought to you by Menards. Save big money on all your home improvement needs at Menards. By Miller Lite, it's not just a good time, it's Miller time. By Toyota, let's go places. And by AT&T Uverse TV. Check availability at 1-800-PICK-ATT. Rethink possible. Back at Miller Park, Cardinals and Brewers here tonight. Craig Kashan, Jerry Augustine back on board. Last time these two teams met was April 14th in St. Louis. Brewers went on now to win 12 of 16 since then, but it's all about starting pitching, hasn't it been?
It has been. And you know what? To look at the Brewers matchup tonight with Jake Westbrook, one of the hottest pitchers in all of baseball, leads the major leagues in ERA. When you have a pitcher like him, he's a sinker ball pitcher. The Brewer hitters are going to have to make him elevate that fastball. When you look at Willie Peralta, what a great incentive. A rivalry. You're starting to throw the ball real well. It's all about commanding that fastball. Get ahead with that fastball. Be able to use that changeup you're now using and that good slider you have.
Jake Westbrook has thrown scoreless baseball in 3 of his first 4 starts. That's why his ERA is under 1. Has not given up a home run yet. The Brewers just got done hitting 10 in the 3-game series here at Miller Park against Pittsburgh. Cardinals and Brewers, first pitch is on the way here on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Enjoy it. It's the first of a long 4-game set.
Opener, the Brewers of the Cardinals here at Miller Park. Mark Cannon back at the stadium, and the Brewers anticipating the imminent return of their cleanup hitter, Aramis Ramirez. Ron Renicky telling me today that Rami is very close to returning. Ramirez went through a workout today, did a little batting practice. He didn't run around the bases as he did the last couple of days. But Renicky said he wanted to see how Ramirez did today after a different type of workout, including a little cage work, before making that decision. So the Brain Trust will meet after hearing how Ramirez did today, guys. But they are very confident that he could return as soon as tomorrow. Now, Renicky's saying at this point he doesn't want to push Rami. He's not anticipating him playing in back-to-back games yet. He may even play 4 or 5 innings of his first game, just kind of easing him back into the lineup. But the crew can still use his bat. No doubt about that, guys.
Yeah, they're looking forward to the return of Aramis Ramirez as they take to the field in the gold jerseys tonight behind Willie Peralta. There's Mike Matheny, former Brewer, now the skipper of the St. Louis Cardinals in his second year. Took the Redbirds to the postseason last year. Ended up going to the NLCS, as a matter of fact, after they won their opening round against the Nationals, knocked out by the eventual world champs, the Giants. Matheny's batting order brought to you by Piggly Wiggly. Matt Carpenter leads off, Carlos Beltran, then Matt Holliday. Middle of the order is Alan Craig, Yadier Molina, and David Freese, with John Jay, Pete Kozma, and Jake Westbrook rounding it out. And none of these players have faced Willie Peralta. Rocky's making his first start of his career against St. Louis.
And that could be an early advantage for Willie. His last time out was very good at Los Angeles. The Brewers have won Willie Peralta's last 3 starts, including that one in L.A. 6 innings, 3 runs. And the key to his success, throwing strikes. He walked only 1 batter. Now let's check out the Brewers defense set up behind Willie Peralta today. Martin Maldonado gets his 6th start behind home plate. He's the guy that normally catches Peralta, and they have worked extremely well together as of late. Your Menards Brewers defense.
This will be game 4 of this homestand. It's a 9-gamer in all. The Cardinals are here for 4. And that'll run through Sunday, and then a day off Monday, and then the Texas Rangers come in, a 2-game series against an American League opponent for the first time this season. Tough homestand. Brewers off to a good start, taking 2 out of 3 from the Pittsburgh Pirates. And as I mentioned in the open, the Brewers have now won 8 of their last 9 games here at Miller Park. And their winning ways began against St. Louis. That road trip in early April. Todd Tischner is going to call the balls and strikes tonight. Dale Scott, Bill Miller, and C.B. Buckner on the bases. The crew chief is Dale Scott. He's over at first. And we are ready for baseball tonight on a rainy, cold Thursday. How about that? We dropped about 30 degrees from yesterday to today.
It started last night. It started out in the 80s last night, and the cold front ran through. What's that, a Canadian Clipper?
Yeah, I like that. That's nice. Except the problem is that it's coming in the month of May. Matter of fact, there was already a game postponed today in Kansas City. The Tampa Bay Rays and the Royals postponed due to rain and snow, as Peralta deals strike 1 to Matt Carpenter, and off we go tonight. .66 degrees inside Miller Park. Much colder outside. Matter of fact, the roof is closed and the panels are closed as well. Had the roof open for the first time on Tuesday, and a beautiful sunny day yesterday. Quickly 0-2 on Carpenter. Count goes to a ball and 2 strikes. The St. Louis Cardinals are coming to town, having won 2 out of 3 from the Reds in their last series. Carpenter was a big part of their victory yesterday. Carpenter had 3 hits in St. Louis's 4-2 win over the Reds yesterday afternoon.
Yeah, Cardinals doing a lot of things very well, particularly pitching. Their defense has been very good. They've been scoring enough runs. Not a big home run hitting ball club. But the middle of their order is about as good as any in the big leagues.
One of the top hitting teams with runners in scoring position, and Carpenter continues his hitting ways. And he's thinking about 2. He will stop there. Thought for a moment, but Gomez cut it off quickly and made a good throw in. So Carpenter with a 2-strike single to get the night started.
Yeah, different look to this Cardinals offense, that lineup that Mike Matheny posted today, as opposed to what they showed back in St. Louis. John Jay was a leadoff hitter not that long ago on a 2-2 count. And Matt Carpenter has always been a very good hitter. Lines went into center field.
Yeah, 3 hits yesterday, and he's having a great start to his year. He's actually hitting for some power as well. Carlos Beltran has moved into the 2 spot. Beltran has found his home run stroke here lately. He has 7 home runs for the season, which is 6th in the National League. He's tied with Braun and Uni Betancourt for that home run category. He's also driven in 18. Comes in with a .304 batting average. St. Louis with a 16-11 record, coming into play in first place in the division. And for the 2nd straight series to begin a series, the Brewers face the team that is in first place in the division and has the lowest team ERA. That's where the Pirates were when they showed up here on Monday. And that's where the Cardinals are when they arrive here today.
And the Brewers did a pretty good job scoring runs and a pretty good Pirate pitching staff. Big run totals on Monday and Tuesday.
Bouncing ball. Betancourt to second. Segura, who is on the shift, the throw is off the mark. Kind of an odd double play there with the shift on. Betancourt has to go to Segura, who's coming in from an unusual angle for a third baseman, and the Brewers just couldn't quite turn it.
Man, they were lucky to get anybody on this. Segura doing a nice job of tiptoeing around that bag and getting a throw off the first base. Gonzalez able to keep it in the infield. They nearly didn't get anybody there.
That's one of the challenges with the shift. It's not a normal look, and even though these guys work on it, they practice these kind of throws. You know, for a third baseman to look up, his instinct is to see a second baseman coming right at him. Instead, Segura is cutting across almost like a quarterback trying to hit a receiver across the middle.
And kind of unusual throw for Betancourt as well. He's not sure, you know, not used to seeing the shortstop coming from center field.
Now you can see Betancourt motioning to Segura, saying, I was trying to play the slice. And he played the hook. So one gone. Here is Matt Holliday with Beltran at first. Holliday with 3 homers, 16 RBIs. And a quick visit there for Martin Maldonado. Might have spotted something with Willie Peralta he didn't like. These two have a very interesting relationship, Rock. Peralta and Maldonado. And it is a relationship that goes all the way back to their days in A-ball together with the Brewers 5 years ago.
And a lot of it is nonverbal communication. Maybe a look, maybe a pump of the fist by Maldonado. And you know, these two know what each other's thinking without even having to say anything.
And we'll see what kind of adjustment Peralta makes here, and whatever Maldonado spotted. There's a swing and a miss. Hey, just throw the one that he swings and misses on. How about the changeup?
Man, that was a good one. And he had a very good one against the Dodgers. Pulls his string, and Holliday out in front. He's got such good arm action on that changeup. It's really becoming a very good pitch. Not sure if we're going to get the fastball, the changeup, the slider, all coming out of that same arm slot.
1-2 to Matt Holliday. Runner at first, and Holliday lays off. Holliday's been off to a bit of a slow start. He is a much better hitter than his .264 average. Still a major threat at the plate, and he's gotten his home runs. He's hit 3 thus far. On base percentage just under .370. But one category which he would rather not lead the league in is grounded into double plays, and he has 7 of them this year. Peralta would love to add 1 to it. The 2-2 and a swing and a miss. Peralta with the power sinking fastball puts it right by Holliday for the second out.
And a rare strikeout for Matt Holliday. Only his 13th punch out this year, and that's one of the reasons why he grounds into so many double plays. He makes good contact. He hits the ball hard, but does not run very well. And that was a power sinker from Willie. And Holliday right over the top.
Now, there aren't many pitchers like Willie Peralta, and when you talk to Rick Kranitz, the pitching coach, Lee Tunnell, anybody who has anything to do with pitching in this organization, they will tell you how excited they are about the prospects of Peralta as he learns hitters, as he settles into the big leagues. Got a little cup of coffee last year. Started out in the bullpen, as a matter of fact. Made 1 relief appearance, and then the Brewers sent him down to be a starter. Called him back up in September. So his first full season in the major leagues as a starting pitcher, and he has great stuff. Bouncing ball, 2 weeks. And Alan Craig is retired, and that's a good start for the man in gold, Willie Peralta. Brewers coming up. after a 2-8 start. Had a winning month of April, went 14-11 in the month of April. Lost yesterday and opened up today's play at 14-12. Here is Renick's Piggly Wiggly batting order. Aoki, Segura, and Braun, Betancourt, Weeks, and Gomez in the middle. Maldonado, Gonzalez, and Peralta rounded out.
Well, Jake Westbrook making his 5th start of the year. And you see his numbers against the Brewers: a 3.06 earned run average in 8 starts, a 2-4 record. Leads the National League in earned run average at 0.89 or 98, and the starters for the Cardinals as a group with a 2.11 earned run average. So these guys have been very good. You've got to get to the bullpen.
Westbrook has had an incredible start to the season. Certainly don't expect him to keep up these kind of numbers with an earned run average under 1, right at the top of the league. Hasn't given up much at all. Jake Westbrook has a complete game shutout on his line, and Aoki greets him rudely. Down the right field corner, Aoki thinking about 2, and he's in there with a leadoff double. Nori Aoki gets it started for the Brewers tonight.
Well, he seems like when Aoki gets a day off, he always comes back strong, and Ron Renick recognizes that. He got yesterday off. Well, to get to a sinker baller like Westbrook, you try to get to him early. We say that a lot, but it really rings true with Westbrook on the mound before he gets comfortable and gets big sink. That looked like a breaking ball, and Aoki able to rip it down the line.
Logan Schaefer got the start yesterday for the Brewers. Aoki back in the starting lineup and delivers a double for Gene Segura. Segura bunts it foul.
Well, let's check out the Mirage defense for the Cardinals. This second best defense in all the National League, right behind the Arizona Diamondbacks. Only 12 errors for the Cardinals. Yadier Molina leads them all. He's making his 26th start in 27 games. The backup catcher for the Cardinals doesn't get a whole lot of love.
Not just the Gold Glove winner, but the Platinum Glove winner, the best defender in the National League last year. And by the way, if you're wondering who the backup catcher with the Cardinals is, his name is Tony Cruz.
Made one start.
He doesn't play much.
Right.
Yeah, Molina, not only is he great in a lot of ways defensively, he also swings the bat, but he's a workhorse back there. Segura bounces one to short. Cosma will make the play for the out. And Segura. One gone here in the Westbrook first. So here's Ryan Braun now. Braun with 7 home runs. He has 22 driven in. 6 in the league in home runs. He's 5th in the league in RBIs. He's tied with Uni Betancourt in both of those categories.
You just come to expect greatness with Ryan Braun. I mean, all the accolades for the guys that are basically doing what Ryan Braun does just about every month. And you come to expect it of him. And he's done very well against Jake Westbrook in his career.
Wow. 10 for 19 with a home run. Braun is on a little mini streak at the plate. He's hitting 4 in a row on this homestand. Going back to the final game in Los Angeles. And his bat starting to heat up once again. Not that the numbers are very good. The homers, the RBIs, on base percentage, slugging percentage, but Braun's batting average is a little lower than what we normally see. However, in those last 4 games, Braun is 7 for 17 at the plate, hitting over 400 during that stretch.
And you saw the sink on that fastball. That was actually a fastball that Westbrook just threw. It looks like it just drops off the table, almost like a splitter. 89 miles an hour. Obviously doesn't overpower anybody, but he gets an awful lot of ground ball outs. Not many walks, not many strikeouts, so you have to have good defense if you're a guy like Westbrook, and the Cardinals excellent defensively.
Aoki with a good lead at second. Braun trying to drive him in. And that one's ripped to right field, but right at Beltran for the out. Braun hit it right on the nose, but right at the Cardinal right fielder for the second out. Tough break for Braun.
You'd like to be able to get on the board early against Jake Westbrook. He's given up only 4 runs all year, 3 earned runs this year in 4 starts. So obviously every run you get is at a premium.
Well, here is Uni Betancourt now with 2 gone. Renicky moving Betancourt into the cleanup spot here tonight. Lucroy is off tonight. He's available to pinch hit. Maldonado does the catching. And it will be interesting, as Mark Concannon reported, Ramos Ramirez will probably return tomorrow. That's the plan anyway. If he comes through everything that he did today on the field, he comes through in the athletic training room. And if that's the case, then the Brewers would have to make a transaction, and you figure that Betancourt is going to end up over at first base, as Renicky will no doubt ride the hot hand at the plate.
I'm starting to get his pieces back, and still waiting for Corey Hart's return.
Now, Betancourt homered yesterday. He and Gomez went back to back. And what's impressive is the fact that Betancourt is sitting on 22 RBIs. But Uni has 20 runs batted in since April 16th. Tied for the most in the major leagues with Mike Napoli of the Red Sox. 20 ribbies in just a couple of weeks.
Man, just about every one of them huge for the Brewers. An amazing pickup right at the end of spring training. I only wonder what would have gone on with this Brewers club had they not had Betancourt.
Well, when the season began, the biggest questions were, how do the Brewers make up for the losses of Hart and Ramirez? Well, Ramirez was in the lineup, but he only played in 4 games. Big production lost, and the Brewers have been able to cover it. We talked in our open about what has been the big 3 this year: Segura, Gomez, Betancourt. And all of that with Ryan Braun kind of just steadily going along here. Full count, 2 outs with Aoki at second. And there is ball 4. So Uni B draws the walk, a guy who doesn't issue many walks, and a hitter who doesn't draw many walks. First and second now with 2 gone for Ricky Weeks. Weeks with a couple of homers, 9 runs batted in, had a 5 RBI game on Tuesday here against the Pirates. And a chopper over to short. Easy play to second, and the side is retired. So the Brewers get a double and a walk, unable to score against Jake Westbrook. We go to the second inning.
Willie Peralta pitching for the Crew tonight. Willie told me he feels like he's getting close to where he can have good stuff every time out. He and pitching coach Rick Kranitz have been working on Willie's mechanics, getting him to throw the ball straight up rather than across his body. He had been doing that. Kranitz says throwing straight up gives Willie better command. Willie told me he listens to Cranny very closely, and he feels like he's improving, guys.
Yeah, when he stands tall like that and delivers the baseball with that short stride, he's going to get some tilt on that pitch. Not so much of a tail, but a sink, and that's what he gets. And when you can do that, when you're throwing 95, 96, right. I mean, that's something special that a lot of pitchers aren't able to do.
And it's a great contrast tonight in sinker balls from Willie Peralta to Jake Westbrook. And there aren't many guys who have that kind of velocity with their sinker. And he's got a bright future. Brewers are hoping he gets it going tonight. That's a low ball hit hard down the right field line. But Aoki is there, and Molina on the first pitch makes a play. Let's take a look at that Willie Peralta delivery.
And you can see the way Willie, pretty standard, going up to the top, a nice balance on the back leg, and watch how tall he stands. Not much of a bend in his back. You see the way he stands straight up, not a real long stride, which is what allows him to get that good movement as he gets to home plate.
Here's David Freese now. He's been a struggling hitter this year. He's just 8 for 49 this season. Freese comes in batting .163, has not homered, just 3 RBIs.
But he's always done well against Milwaukee.
They had a great postseason against the Brewers back in the 2011 playoffs in the LCS. Was the NLCS MVP that year, along with being the World Series MVP. Freese is now 0 for his last 16 at the plate. Matheny actually sat him down, gave him a breather from the starting lineup, which Freese was not happy about. Felt like he needed to be playing to break out of the slump. But he's back in there tonight, and he sends that one right back through the box for a base hit, and that snaps the hitless run for him.
And tonight's time of the game winner, strikes, spares, and spirits in Iron Ridge. If they call the Brewers in the next 24 hours, they get 40 Miller Lite beer pen tickets to a Brewers home game this year. This offer courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and our good friends at Miller Lite.
I'm guessing that's not a golf course.
Strikes, spares, and spirits. Not necessarily in order of importance.
Yeah, the others usually follow one of those. At least the lack of. Put the gutters up. Here's John Jay. As Rock mentioned, he had been leading off at the beginning of the season. And Matheny has him down batting 7th tonight. Jay, Cosma, and then the pitcher spot. Jay's been a good hitter throughout his career. As a matter of fact, he was so good 2 seasons ago that the Cardinals traded away one of their best prospects in Colby Rasmus. Chance for 2. Segura to Weeks. The turn up the line, and Gonzalez puts the tag on him. A shortstop playing first has the great hands, and he was able to get the tag on Jay before he hit the bag, and that's a double play to end the inning. Segura to Weeks to Gonzalez. Brewers coming up in the home second. And the division rival Cardinals starting this 4-game series. Carlos Gomez leads off. Gomez, Maldonado, and Gonzalez. And Rocky was a part of your highlight reel today for the open of the broadcast. Gomez enters play today second in the league in batting, hitting .367 coming in.
And the on-base percentage at .418. That's about as important as the batting average when you consider Carlos Gomez and his value to this ball club, just being able to get on base with his speed. And remember, this great run for Gomez started in St. Louis against the Cardinals.
And if you look at that stretch, the Brewers would end up winning 9 in a row. He was sat down on the Saturday in St. Louis. He came back, had a 3-hit game Sunday, a game the Brewers would come back to win. And then winning 9 in a row. They didn't lose again until the last road trip in San Diego. Won that final game in St. Louis. They swept the homestand, the Giants and the Cubs, and then took the first 2 in San Diego. And during this stretch for Gomez, he's hitting .509 in 16 games. And he chased one. A little over anxious at the plate. Gomez strikes out, the first Westbrook strikeout tonight.
Just trying to ride one out of the strike zone. You see a four-seamer trying to get Gomez to chase, something really he hasn't been doing a lot of, and normally with 2 strikes he shortens up, which is one of the reasons why he's been so good.
Now Gomez was waiting for that ball to sink in the middle of the strike zone, but it stayed up there. And Westbrook has just been incredible this year, using all quadrants of the strike zone. I mean, better than at any point in his career. He's off to a terrific start with an ERA at 0.98 in his first 4 starts. It is odd that he's only won 1 ball game this season. Cardinal bullpen has really struggled.
And the Cardinals are only 1-3 in Westbrook starts. With a guy with numbers like that, only 1 win, but the Cardinals have lost 3 of them. Well, you're right. The bullpen has really let down Jake Westbrook so far this year. I mean, in 28 now in 2/3 innings, he's given up 3 earned runs. I mean, that's amazing. Of course, there's a guy in St. Louis back in the 60s that did that just about all year. 1.12 earned run average, Bob Gibson.
And that was an interesting bit of trivia from Westbrook's opening month of the season. You think about the great pitching in St. Louis over the years. Bob Gibson is the first name that comes to mind. There's Maldonado over to Freeze for out number 2.
Hey, when the Brewers win, you win. For every win this month, we'll knock $1 off the price of a Terrace box ticket for the June 3rd through 5th series against the Oakland A's. The more games the Brewers win, the more you save. Visit Brewers.com/win-win for details.
So 2 gone, and here comes Alex Gonzalez getting the start at first base tonight. And a bouncer out to short. Cosma will make the play, and that is a quick 1-2-3 inning for Jake Westbrook.
here. The Brewers and Cardinals, the series opener. Mark Concannon with Brewers Chief Operating Officer Rick Schlesinger. And Rick, fans still have 1 day to take advantage of 5-county, 5-day promotion.
Half-price tickets tomorrow for all residents of the 5 counties. We're advanced sales are about 36,000, so we'll have close to a sellout, if not a sellout, tomorrow.
Big day Sunday, some Brewer history from back in the day, way back in the day.
100th anniversary of the 1913 Milwaukee Brewers American Association Championship. So Corey Hart's going to be wearing a bobblehead. He's going to have a bobblehead of himself wearing that uniform, and we're playing the Cardinals. Cardinals are wearing uniforms from 1913, so it's going to be kind of fun, and we'll wear uniforms from the 1913 Milwaukee Brewers.
And another popular promotion coming up, Brewers win, you win.
For every game we win in May through May 30th, it's $1 off a Terrace Reserve ticket for the Oakland A's series in early June. So if we win 25 home games in May, 25 games total in May, $25, the ticket is free because it's a $24 ticket.
Fans can always dream, can't they?
Yeah, we can always hope for it.
Rick, always a pleasure. Thanks. Guys, a lot of great deals to see some great baseball here at Miller Park.
All right, thanks, Mark, and thanks to Rick for joining us here. Great homestand coming up, and a weekend of baseball with the division rivals. This place is going to be packed over the weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and that's when Miller Park is at its best. Pete Kozma leading off for St. Louis as Peralta zips one in for strike 2. So far, Willie has given up a hit. Check it, 2 hits. With Carpenter and Freeze with base hits. Both are singles. Peralta got a double play last inning to end it. And there's one into left field. Braun closing, lays out, and he makes the catch. Ryan Braun, a diving catch in left field.
I don't think there's anybody in left field that can go down the line any better than Ryan Braun. Incredible quickness and instincts going to the line in left and making another great catch. That ball gets by Brawny, and that's a triple. Well done, Ryan.
And gets a big ovation here as they play that highlight on the video wall. Jake Westbrook takes a strike, and Willie says, "That's my guy."
It's good to be in the big leagues, making plays like that.
Very underrated part of Ryan Braun's game is his defense. Westbrook, shallow center, long run. Gomez out is Segura. That's going to fall, a base hit. Well placed fly ball by Jake Westbrook. And a base runner. The Cardinals have their 3rd hit now. Back to the top of the order in Matt Carpenter. Carpenter singled to right center in the 1st inning. That's how the game began. Guy feeling pretty good at the plate right now. He can play a lot of different positions, but this year Mike Matheny has put him at second base most of the time, but he has career starts at 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. He's played the corner outfield positions.
He can rake. Doesn't use batting gloves. Kind of a throwback guy.
Breaks his bat, and another base hit. Boy, how about those 2 hits against Peralta? Westbrook and Carpenter with back-to-back singles, and now the muscle of this order is coming up.
Well, he seems to be able to put the bat on the baseball, change up from Willie right off the end of the bat, but watch the way he's able to keep that bat in the hitting zone. Westbrook not sure where to go, ends up at second base. Westbrook has not been on the bases all that much. No. Only his 2nd hit this year.
Well, and he's the lead runner here. So the work begins for Willie Peralta. 3 of the 4 hits have not been hit all that well. The hardest hit ball of the night was Carpenter's line drive to right center. But the Cardinals have threatened in each inning. Now 2 on, 1 out for Beltran. Beltran coming off a series against the Reds. He was 4 for 9. Had a big homestand. He had 3 home runs on the last homestand against the Pirates and the Reds. As a matter of fact, on Friday night against Cincinnati, he homered from each side of the plate. The switch hitter has done that now 35 times in his career.
Yeah, he's very good from both sides. Higher batting average from the right side, but because he has so many more at bats left-handed, far and away more home runs this side of the plate.
And he just missed that one. Aoki will make the catch. Westbrook is going to tag, and he'll stop. And a good throw from Aoki, and almost Segura chased him back. 2 outs in the inning now. Hey, don't forget, Fox Saturday Baseball returns this week right here at Miller Park. The Cardinals and the Brewers are on national television. Fox Saturday Baseball returning 2:30 p.m. Central. Brewers Cardinals. And the pitching matchup for the Saturday game, the Saturday afternoon game on Fox, will be Giovanni Gallardo and Adam Wainwright. That's a headliner.
Yeah.
2 outs for Matt Holliday. And he's drilled. Peralta hits him, which will load the bases.
Yeah, you like the way Holliday just drops the bat and heads to first base. No fanfare or anything like that. And you've got to pitch Holliday inside with good fastballs, and every now and again one gets away. He stands on the plate. He heads toward the outside corner, and that one gets him right on the arm.
Now, this could be a big hitter coming up for Peralta. Bases loaded, nobody out. Cardinals haven't hit the ball all that hard, but 2 hits and now a hit batter. Craig is very good with runners in scoring position, and the Cardinals as a team lead the major leagues in batting average with runners in scoring position. They're hitting .330 this year as a club. They're even better with 2 outs and runners in scoring position, hitting .337.
Well, they're 11th in the league in home runs, but they score a lot of runs. You got to do it somehow. They don't have a lot of speed, but they do come up with the big hits.
And Craig breaks his bat, and that's going to fall for a base hit. Braun's throw to the plate, and not in time. 2-run score. Well, the Cardinals nickel and diming the Brewers to death in this inning.
And nothing hit all that hard, and Willie victimized by a couple of broken bats and one off the end, and Cardinals with a 2-0 lead. Well, not much you can do about that if you're Peralta. Good pitches, but Cardinals able to come through with the hits.
Braun trying to cut down Carpenter, but he was off and running on the crack of the bat, or the break of the bat in this case. Well, that's tough to take right there. So 3 hits in the inning now to go along with the hit batter, and the Cardinals have the lead 2-0. And here is Molina, who swung at the first pitch his last time up, flew out to right.
Everybody talks about cheap hits and the fact that the Cardinals with 3 of them, but when you make contact and consistent contact and don't swing and miss, you're going to get hits like that. The Cardinals have struck out the fewest amount of times of any team in the league. So you put the bat on the baseball and you give yourself a chance.
And Molina shoots one to right, a base hit. Holliday's going to try to score. The throw to the plate. One hop, and it's off the mark. Safe at the plate as Maldonado tried to make an amazing play. As the throw went on the wrong side of the bag, he tried to block him off. Gave up his body.
And kind of did a reverse spin, and boy, you really open yourself up for a disaster if Holliday came in to try and take him out, but he didn't. He slid, and Ron Renneke and Maldonado thought they had him blocked off. I think Maldonado was pointing to his arm area, saying that that's where Holiday actually hit him. Watch him spin around the other way, and it looked like he was safe anyway on that angle. He looked safe, but boy, a dangerous play by Maldonado, really exposing himself to a big hit. Watch the way he spins around, reverse spin here. You don't see this very often. And Maldonado could have been hurt badly on that play.
He is fortunate that he's still in this game. Maldonado is a big guy himself, and Holiday just barreling him on him. And he's safe. The third run of the inning. Molina with an RBI single. And that's how quick it can unravel for a pitcher against this lineup. And a flare from Westbrook, 2 broken bat hits from Carpenter and Craig, and Molina lines one to right for an RBI.
Well, now you got to minimize the damage. You keep him at 3. You don't want to give up another base hit. The big inning always hurts seemingly young pitchers get themselves in trouble and have a tough time getting out of it. That comes with maturity.
First and third now with 2 away. Here's David Freese, and on the first pitch he bangs one through for an RBI single. This is not Willie Peralta's inning here.
Man, what was that about David Freese really struggling?
Yeah, 0 for his last 16. He's 2 for 2 tonight.
And every time it seems like the Brewers see that guy, he comes up big for him. First pitch, a fastball, and you can see Segura shaded over toward the hole. He bounces it through the middle for another run-scoring base hit. Cardinals aggressive up there, second time through.
Well, neither one of Freese's base hits have been hit all that hard either, but he's put them in the right spot. And Willie Peralta's got to be wondering how in the world he has given up 4 runs in this inning with the pitches he's made.
Hardest hit baseballs have been outs. That fly ball to right, that Beltran hit, the line drive that was caught by Cosma, or hit by Cosma, caught by Braun in that diving catch. Everything else, a seeing eye ground ball or a broken bat.
The 9th man in the inning to bat, John Jay. 4 consecutive base runners for St. Louis. Peralta hit Holiday and then 3 straight singles. All of this with 2 outs. Two on, 2 away. Jay bounced into a 6-4-3 double play his last time up. And a good changeup from Peralta. It's 1-1.
All the base hits have been on fastballs, and a couple of them on first pitch fastballs. Molina and David Freese.
A Charter high-speed pitch tonight. Westbrook at 91. Peralta has been as fast as 97. You see Peralta's pitch count at 42. Cardinals have been swinging early in the count. This is pitch number 20 of the inning, despite the 9th batter of the inning. Little tapper foul. There you see the pitches by inning for Peralta.
Yeah, quick 7th and making up for it here in the 3rd. Not getting too much of the plate with a fastball up in the strike zone. He's effective. He's got that good tilt. We talked about that early on.
2-2 to John Jay. That one's muscled into left field, a base hit. They're going to hold the runner Molina around third base. I'm not sure I've seen anything like this.
Another flare.
That is 4 consecutive hits, 5 consecutive base runners.
Now, that's a location. It's going to be up in the strike zone, and you're going to get hits like that with pitches up. I mean, you elevate the baseball for the hitter, even when they don't hit it all that hard. It's going to be able to get over the infield and then become base hits. That's been the story. You get that same pitch down around the knees, it's a ground ball somewhere. Of course, ground balls have been finding holes in this inning, too.
Well, Pete Kozma, who started this inning with a line out to left on a diving catch by Braun. Bases loaded, 2 outs, and this is a must out for Willie Peralta. 4 runs is going to be tough enough against Jake Westbrook. Kozma has been very good with runners in scoring position. He's a batting average about 50 points higher with runners at least at second base than his overall batting average.
There's where you want it, down there. That's a good pitch. 95 at the knees. Those are pitches that are tough to flare into the outfield.
Four runs in, all with 2 outs. Craig drove in 2. Molina, Freese, and Jay followed him with hits. RBIs for Molina and Freese. 2 balls and a strike on Kozma. And that one's lined into left field, a base hit. Here comes Freese around third. The throw to the plate. The tag, not in time. 2 more runs will score, and the Cardinals are pouring it on here in the 3rd inning. It's been a 6-run inning for St. Louis.
Yeah, another close play at home plate, but it looked as though Todd Tishner got it right. I mean, bang, bang on a couple of throws from the outfield, one from right and one from left. Look at the size of the lead for David Freese. He's a third of the way to third base before that pitch is on its way, and the throw all the way in the air, very close. They called safe. Yep, he's safe.
Yeah, good call back there.
But the huge lead to start it out, to start the inning, or before the pitch was thrown, is why he was able to get in there safely.
Oh, what an inning. 6 runs are in for the Cardinals on 7 hits. 6 straight base runners. And here's Westbrook again, who had a flare to center field. The 10th batter in the inning, the 11th batter in the inning.
This is where he starts. Now look at the secondary lead. I mean, almost halfway to third before the pitch is even at home plate. And with 2 outs, you run on contact, and bang, bang, you're safe.
Westbrook, bouncer to Betancourt. And this inning is mercifully over. St. Louis with a 6th spot in the 3rd, and the Brewers got a whole lot of work to do tonight.
the third inning. And last time these two teams met, Cardinals pitching was the story. They pitched 2 shutouts before the Brewers broke it open in the third game, ending a 32-inning scoreless drought. And the Brewers bats will have to go to work again tonight. So tonight on our AT&T Twitter poll, we're asking you about pitching matchups. Which one are you most looking forward to? Tonight's matchup or tomorrow? Kyle Loesch versus Shelby Miller. Saturday, Giovanni Gallardo and Adam Wainwright, or Marco Estrada and Jamie Garcia. Good pitching matchups on tap here this weekend, Brian.
All right, Sophia, thanks. And yeah, good pitching matchup, 4 games. We welcome you back, and Rock, welcome back to the booth, man.
Good to be back.
It's good to have you back. And
good to be back. Yep.
Your mother-in-law passed away. We want to send our best out to Kate, your wife Kate, and her mom passing away last week. And the funeral, I assume everything went well, and we missed you here, partner.
Yeah, good as we can expected. But Kate and her mom, obviously, like any mother-daughter, very close, and obviously understatement to say that she'll be missed by all. But we want to thank everybody for all the warm outpouring of support and the condolences, and they're much appreciated.
It's good to have you back. Jerry Augustine and Craig Counsell filled in for the last 2 games and did a fine job. It took 2 to replace 1. But we're glad to get you back. We certainly want to send our best out to Kate and all of her family, her immediate family. Willie Peralta will lead off here in the 3rd inning. Probably still trying to figure out what just happened to him in the top of the 3rd with 6 runs in. And there's out number 1. Well, we do have a carsoup.com email the booth question for you, partner. This comes from Kyle in Waterford. What kind of flexibility does Jeff Bianchi give Ron Reinke in regards to the lineup? The transaction from today, Chris Davis sent out. Bianchi comes back off a rehab.
Well, you get a guy that can play shortstop. So the Brewers now have 4 players on their roster that have shortstop experience. As a matter of fact, Bianchi down in the minor leagues played some left field. So he gives that flexibility. A guy that has been in the big leagues a little bit more than Chris Davis. You feel bad for Davis in that he had such a great spring, but just was not able to get enough at bats to stay sharp. And he's going to get sent down and get some playing time. And you never know, you might see Chris Davis back.
Well, Bianchi is a shortstop by trade, which gives the Brewers by far the most shortstops on a current roster of any team in the big leagues, with Betancourt, Gonzalez, Segura. Aoki into center field, playable for John Jay, and there is out number 2.
Yeah, but 2 of those shortstop have shown incredible flexibility, Gonzalez and Betancourt, and going back and forth between first and third. Both have done a fabulous job defensively. Bianchi was supposed to be on this roster out of spring training, but he got hurt.
He had a groin injury early in the spring, and then that turned into a hip injury. And that is why it took him a while to get back. He misses the first month of the season, although he's been on a minor league rehab. He's a good player. He showed himself very well last year when he got a chance. 2 outs for Gene Segura.
Yeah, the Brewers 2 games over 500 and really playing short-handed offensively. Guys are starting to come back and get healthy. You got Bianchi back. You're going to get Ramirez back tomorrow. 1 guy left, and it's a biggie, Corey Hart.
Unlike Ramirez, who will not go on a minor league rehab, Corey Hart will, and he's with the ball club now, and he's doing his rehab work, but he'll go and play in some minor league games at some point. Ramirez says he feels like he doesn't need a minor league rehab. I mean, if it was close and if it was functional that he could do that here in Wisconsin, the Timber Rattlers are on the road. But he said he's been through it before, and he actually just feels better coming in and starting right away. And he's actually had some of his better games coming back from rehab. So,
and you don't expect him to play every day when he comes back. Play a game and sit, and then maybe after a week you might see him in there every day. Hopefully things go well. I think the Brewers are very pleased with where they're at as far as wins and losses, based on all the injuries.
Well, the Brewers are 14-12, and they have a couple of guys in the top 3 in hitting, and Gomez and Segura. Well represented among the leaders as Segura draws the walk, and that will bring Ryan Braun to the plate. Offense has not been a problem for the Brew Crew here at Miller Park in this homestand. They've hit 10 home runs in the first 3 games. They're going to need a bunch of offense tonight. Westbrook hasn't given up hardly anything all year. But you figure at some point,
which means he's due, right?
Yeah, the levy's got a break. See the Powerball home run leaderboard. Both Braun and Betancourt in the top 6 in the league in home runs, and then Carlos Gomez with 5. Let's see if Braun can give the Crew a quick strike here. Cardinals lead the division right now after the first month at 16-11. Then the Pirates, and then the Brewers. Brewers are a game and a half back, but just 1 back in the loss column.
Is the Cardinal outfield actually in play?
Wow.
Look how deep they are. I mean, you have to be that deep.
That's about as deep as I've ever seen it. And Braun rips one to center, and guess who's standing right there?
Didn't have to move.
All of those broken bats for the Cardinals in the 3rd. The line drives are outs for the Brew Crew. That's the way it goes sometimes. The official supermarket of Fox Sports Wisconsin. By Ho Chunk Gaming Wisconsin, your ticket to more. And by Marshfield Clinic. Don't just live, shine. A good scene earlier today at the Union Building at UWM, University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. They had a Vote Brewers party today. The balloting party with the college kids. It was great. It was a great turnout. They did it from 11 to 2 at the UWM Union on Kenwood Boulevard. And 8 Brewer players are featured on the ballot for the Major League All-Star Game. Our voting is brought to you by Feldco, and these are the Brewers you can vote for. Have a number of guys that are All-Star worthy through the first month of the season. Yeah, great job putting that together at that voting party at UWM. Got some passionate Brewers fans out at UWM, the Panthers. Well, good to see the turnout today. I know one of your kids went to UWM. Is that about right, or did 2?
Yeah, 1.
Mallory.
Right.
She's a Panther. That Carpenter in the air to the left, and Braun easing toward the line will make the catch. And there is out number 1.
Yeah, one guy not on that list. The headshot's a guy that if he continues to play the way he has, right there, certainly worthy of some consideration.
Get the write-in vote for Uni B.
Can you do that online?
You know, I've never. Yeah, you can do that. I've never voted online. I'm kind of an old-fashioned guy.
Really?
You know, with the punch cards. That's the way I like to go.
You got to get it going. Let's go.
You can vote, I think, up to 25 times per
account.
Email account.
A guy like you's got what, 5, 6 accounts?
Yeah, you got to keep them separate. Beltran shoots one through for a base hit. Well, the Cardinals are racking up a ton of hits tonight against Willie Peralta. That is the 10th already. We're in the 4th inning.
And all singles. But they count, don't they? You put them together and it doesn't matter what they are, but 10 singles and 6 runs. And a bullet by Beltran into right.
Yeah, we're only in the 4th, and the only guy in the lineup without a hit is the man at the plate, Matt Holliday, who was hit by a pitch last inning and scored a run. Peralta was on the mound with 2 outs and 2 on, and a chance to get through the inning without giving up a run. And when he finally got out of the inning, 6 runs had scored in a flash.
Cardinals 5 for 7 with runners in scoring position in the 3rd inning.
Wow.
That's what they do.
Only adding to their already impressive major league leading batting average with runners in scoring position. Up over 330. Yeah, Peralta could use a ground ball double play. He needs a quick inning here. And a bouncer to Bencore. He's got it to second for 1. There's the turn, and it's up the line, and Holliday is safe. Well, Gonzalez came off that bag quickly, trying to get a tag on Holliday. Should have ended the inning. It did not.
A good play by Betancourt to go over toward the hole, and Alex Gonzalez coming off the bag. The throw by Ricky a little bit toward the first home plate side of the bag, and a little inexperience. You get Corey Hart over there at first base. What you don't, that big long wingspan, and that's an out.
So instead, the inning continues.
First responsibility of the first baseman is to make sure you catch the baseball. And 2 times now, Gonzalez has had to come off the bag. First time he was able to make the tag. This time, no. And we've already seen what happens with 2 outs in an inning with this Cardinals club. Those are big mistakes.
Alan Craig drove in 2 with 2 outs last inning on a single. And it's 0-2 on Alan Craig. Craig getting the chance to play first base pretty much every day for the Cardinals now. When Albert Pujols was in St. Louis, Craig broke in the outfield. He also had a big postseason in 2011. He and David Freese, 2 unexpected sources to give the Cardinals big production. But he's a guy that has started all over the infield as well, first and third. He had a start at second base. He's even played center field. That's a rare combo. Craig has played every position except short and catcher. He started in every position except shortstop and catcher. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Craig. And did that hit him? No, that's a foul tip, and that's an out. So a foul tip into the mid of Maldonado, and Craig is a strikeout victim. Run walk. He is scheduled for July 20th. Registration is open. You can sign up today at brewers.com/5K run walk. Proceeds will support the soon-to-be-built Fisher House, Wisconsin. And we're encouraging you to participate, help raise funds in support of military families whose loved ones have been injured while serving our country. Jake Westbrook back to work. 6-0 to score, and Betancourt swinging away at the first pitch, pulls it foul. A 6-run Cardinal third inning. Cardinals with 6 runs on 10 hits. Not an extra base hit in the group. 10 hits and a hit batter representing the base runners here today. Betancourt. That was funny. All three players, all three persons at the home plate area called for the appeal right there, including the hitter, which I've never seen in my life. I thought it was an optical illusion at first. Check this out. Uni checks his swing and he says, yeah, check it. Molina.
There they go.
And then Todd Tishner.
All three. I think Uni knew he was going to say no, he didn't go.
That might be the next wave. A swing and a miss. Westbrook strikes him out. I mean, look, if you're up there pointing at the umpire, you're going to sell him that you didn't swing. Hey, don't forget, coming up this Sunday on Fox, Sprint Cup Series racing moves to Talladega Super Speedway. Fox Sports exclusive coverage of the Aaron's 499 begins Sunday at 11 a.m. Central. They don't go all the way to 500 there, just 499. Come up a mile short.
Separate themselves from the pack somehow, right?
We got it.
You remember it that way.
A strike to Ricky Weeks.
Kind of a dangerous track, isn't it?
Talladega, indeed. You follow the racing, do you?
A little bit. Matt Kenseth, Wisconsin guy.
Yep. Weeks bounces it foul. And a count, a ball and 2 strikes. Well, Jake Westbrook, 35 years of age, off to the best start of his career. Career that began in New York. He was a member of the Yankees and then made a name for himself with the Indians. His lone all-star season was as a member of the Indians. Won 15 games in a couple of seasons. Weeks back up the middle and a base hit.
You got to take advantage when Westbrook leaves one up in the strike zone. And he did that time. Fastball, 91 miles per hour. Around the belt, and when he makes mistakes like that, you've got to get your base hits. When they're up there, they don't sink, and those are the ones you have to take advantage of.
So Weeks is aboard with one away for Carlos Gomez. Brewers have got a ton of production from the bottom of their lineup so far this season. Gomez shoots the hole, a base hit. He keeps on hitting. Gomez with a 9-game hitting streak now. And you take it back, including this game, 17 games he's hitting over 500 during this stretch. A significant stretch of hitting.
And the reason why that baseball is in left field is because opposition thinking he's going to bunt. You see David Freese even with the bag, and you really limit, the range of the third baseman. Just the thought of Gomez dropping down a bunt, and he sneaks one into left field.
All right, here's Martin Maldonado now with 2 on and 1 away. Brewers trying to chip away at that deficit. A lot of baseball to be played here tonight. Brewers have put up plenty of offense during this homestand. Those first 3 games against the Pirates. In the first 2 games of this homestand against Pittsburgh, as you see Alfredo Figueroa loosening, the Brewers scored in double digits. And in the 3-game series, Milwaukee scoring 26 runs in the 3 games. Up the middle, base hit. Reaches around third, he'll score. Throw goes into third base. Maldonado drives in a run, and the Brew Crew on the board. 3 straight singles against Jake Westbrook.
Yeah, starting to get some pitches up in the strike zone, and the Brewers able to hit them hard. Yeah, the sinker and up in the zone and flat and belt high, and Martin Maldonado able to drive in the Brewers' first run. Ricky Weeks with good speed, able to score. Well, he saw Figueroa up and getting loose, just in case the pitcher's spot is coming up this inning, and pitcher's spot is on deck.
Here's Alex Gonzalez trying to keep it going. In there for a strike. Now Gonzalez back in the starting lineup yesterday. Alex did not play in the first 2 games of this homestand. Been dealing with a little tightness in the hamstring.
Yeah, Alex has been playing a lot more than anybody had figured he would. Coming off knee surgery a year ago.
And it's one thing to come back from major knee surgery, tore the ACL. It's another thing when you're 36 years of age trying to do that. Alex was 0 for 3 yesterday. His lone home run this year came here at Miller Park. He pulled one down the left field line. And a big spot for the Brewers here in the bottom of the 4th inning. 2 on, a run is in. And Gonzalez waves at 1. Ball and 2 strikes.
Yep, a rare slider from Westbrook, and he put it in a very good spot.
Westbrook's always been a guy that gives up more hits than innings pitched, but that has not been the case this season. Brewers have 4 hits through the first 4 innings tonight. Westbrook is making his 5th start of the season. He's only given up runs in 1 of those starts. Earned runs. He had a 9-inning shutout against Cincinnati, just his 2nd start of the year. That was his lone win. Two on, 1 man out, and Gonzalez doesn't bite this time. 2-2. Gomez takes off, and a strike called on the outside corner. So Gomez steals third base. Gonzalez is rung up. Westbrook with a perfect pitch with 2 strikes.
I'm not sure why he feels though you need to steal down by 5 runs. And hey, this Sunday the Brewers take on these Cardinals at 1:10 p.m. and all fans in attendance get a Corey Hart bobblehead. Compliments of Quick Trip. Visit Brewers.com for tickets. And a lot of times when you're bouncing around, you take off the third base, you distract the hitter a little bit, and that might very well been what happened to Alex Gonzalez there.
Well, now the pitcher Peralta will bat. Changes the thought pattern for Renicky. He has a pitcher in the bullpen ready in Figueroa, but that's 2nd out. He's going to let Peralta swing away. Now Willie can really hit. I'm sure that had something to do with it. For a pitcher, he is about as good as it gets. He and Gallardo are legitimate threats at the plate. And Peralta, wow. That is a big league bat toss. Gomez is off the bag. Molina chased him down and had David Freese turned around. They had Gomez out. It wasn't a foul ball. He threw the bat. The ball was still in play.
Gomez watching the bat. So is David Freese. It's a good thing too, because Gomez would have been an easy out. Both Westbrook and Molina were chasing him down.
It just gives you an idea of how dialed into a game that Yadier Molina is.
There he goes, and I'm not sure what Westbrook's running for. Gomez able to get back. I think Eddie Cedar heads up, gave him the idea that you might want to get back to third base.
Ball with a strike. That's some pretty good distance on a bat toss, though. That's Josh Hamilton like. How far this bat goes. Now that's bat speed.
Yeah.
So tomorrow, go out in your backyard, see how far you can throw a bat. Don't break a window. And Peralta strikes out. So the Brewers had a little something cooking, but Westbrook able to get through it. And it's 6-1 St. Louis. Rewind, and the Brewers in the third inning. Peralta looked like he had a chance to get out of it. Some close plays at the plate, but the Cardinals able to squeeze 3 runs at the plate and 6 total for the inning. This was the one that scared you a little bit with Maldonado putting himself in harm's way. And Braun had a good shot with David Freese, but he just slipped in there. That's kind of the way the inning went for Peralta, Renicky, and the Brewers. And it was a quick 6-run inning for St. Louis, all with 2 outs in the frame. And that's where we are as we head to the 5th. 6-1 Cardinals. We send it down to Mark Concannon.
BA, if you look at the Cardinals' offensive numbers, this is a portrait of a team that hits in the clutch. They're hitting .247 as a team. That's 12th in the majors. They are 23rd in the majors on on-base percentage. But when they are on base, my oh my, they hit .330, runners in scoring position, #1 in the majors, getting the hits when they count. That's why the Redbirds are in first place.
You know, you look at their team, Rock, and this team has every piece in place with the exception of their bullpen scenario. Now they're getting better. They inserted Edward Mujica into that closer's role, and he's done a great job for them. He's 6 for 6 now, but originally, you know, they put Mitchell Boggs in that role. And he gave up some early leads. The Cardinals have blown 6 saves already. And you still look at their record at 16-11. I mean, where would they be had they finished off some of those games?
Right. I mean, we talked about their starting rotation coming in a 2.11 ERA. Bullpen, on the other hand, 5.64. So needless to say, your job early in the game is to try and get to this starting rotation and get them out of the game. And Westbrook, Wainwright. And tomorrow's starter has been very good. Shelby Miller.
Molina strikes out on a high fastball from Peralta.
You see that high fastball in the mid-90s, and Yadier Molina comes up empty. It's going to be very important for Peralta to put up a 0 and make it a relatively quick inning. Ron Renneke showing confidence in him, giving him that bat with 2 outs and a couple of men on, in hopes that he's going to be able to pitch a solid 5th.
Now David Freese, who is 2 for 2 tonight, had an RBI single back in the 3rd inning, scored a run. We're talking about the Cardinal pitching, their starting pitching, finishing the month of April with a 2.15 ERA, the lowest month of at least 5 games since Bob Gibson and the St. Louis Cardinals back in 1968. So in 1968, they called that the year of the pitcher. They raised the mound that year. Bob Gibson finished the season with a 1.12 ERA. The Cardinals had a great starting rotation in 1968. So that group in the month of May had an ERA of 2.03. It has not been challenged even close until this group this year in the month of April with a 2.15 ERA. Gibson's ERA that year in May was 1.27. So it was worse than Jake Westbrook's. He had a 1.27 ERA and he lost 4 games. How's that possible?
Isn't that something? Yeah. Well, just ask that guy right there. How he can be 1-1 with the numbers he's been able to put up. And the Cardinals have only won 1 of his 4 starts. I think we've already answered that question.
Yeah.
And bullpen, right?
Bullpens let him get away, and right now that's been the only nemesis for the St. Louis Cardinals so far this season. But they feel like they've got that settled down a little bit with Mujica in that role. Jason Mott was originally their closer, but he is out and still trying to avoid Tommy John surgery. He's still trying to rehab the elbow and come back without having surgery, but most feel that Mott is going to eventually need to fix that elbow with the ligament replacement surgery, as Freese draws a walk and he's aboard for the 3rd time tonight. Well, Renneke and Kranitz talking about the plan moving forward. You know, Renneke is hoping to get an inning or maybe 2 out of Peralta. He's hoping he could put up zeros after allowing him to hit last inning with 2 on. I don't think Renneke, he would never say this, but I'm not sure he has the kind of confidence in his bench at this point to use a bench player in the 5th inning in this kind of game with 2 outs. It certainly changed his mind once Gonzalez struck out last inning.
Yeah, if you have a big time pinch hitter that's been very good for you on a regular basis, you might consider it. But you have a number of very young players on the bench, and I think Ron Renneke at this point, knowing that he's got a big 4-game series this weekend, rather save his bullpen for the time being.
There's a base hit to left. John Jay slaps one to the opposite field. His 2nd hit of the night.
All of that is dependent upon how Willie Peralta does in his 5th inning. You make your manager look good by putting up a 0 here and getting those Brewers bats back at it. You got to take him out in this inning. Not so much.
Well, Pete Kozma with 1 away and 2 on. Cardinals have hits in every inning. Have 11 hits now. Kozma drove in a pair with a base hit in the 3rd. Well, that's an ugly line for Willie Peralta tonight.
That looks bad, but he threw a lot better than those numbers would indicate. Nothing really hit all that hard off of him. Once again, back-to-back starts. He's been able to throw some strikes. This is a tough lineup, this Cardinal lineup.
Two balls, no strikes on Kozma. Well, this is the hitter you want. Renicky is quickly out of that dugout, and these are some of the things that really frustrate the Brewers about Peralta. He's a young guy, but you've got the 8th place hitter up. Peralta has thrown him 2 balls. You got the pitcher on deck. This is the way out of the inning here for Willie.
And you know what Ron Renicky's thinking here. It happened in the 3rd inning where things kind of spiraled out of control for Willie, and that happens a lot with a young pitcher. And perhaps the Brewers manager kind of seeing the same thing happening.
Now you see Renicky run out to the mound and not make a pitching change. He's got a specific announcement in mind. 2 on, 1 away. And that one's low. Ball 3. Didn't miss by much. Ball 4. Wow. Right at the bottom of the zone, a little under, and 4 straight pitches. He walks Kozma to load the bases, and Renicky is going to go take the ball from him. And that is a bitter pill to swallow for the skipper. So 2 walks and a hit. Bases are loaded. Figaro coming in to face the pitcher, Westbrook. He goes to his pen. Here's our Miller Lite What's on Tap. Shelby Miller against Kyle Loesch tomorrow, the former Cardinal. And Miller, the guy who the Cardinals felt so strong about, they felt like they didn't need to sign Kyle Loesch. And Loesch will get his chance to match up against St. Louis for the 2nd time. That'll be tomorrow right here on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Brewers live at 6:30. Alfredo Figaro, his 8th appearance, and he steps into a mess here. He does have the pitcher batting, but the bases are loaded behind him.
Figueroa hasn't had many opportunities as of late. Only his 8th appearance. He's thrown well with a 3.50 ERA.
And Westbrook fouls it away, trying to get one in the air against Figueroa, the hard thrower.
Figueroa last pitched on Monday against the Pirates. Gave up a couple of runs in 1 inning of work. He gave up a 2-run home run to Garrett Jones.
There's strike 2 on Westbrook. Now Westbrook had a hit in that 3rd inning. That 6-run Cardinal frame. All 3 of those base runners belonging to Peralta here in the 5th as well. Bouncing ball, chance to turn it. Segura to Weeks. Throw to first in time, and just like that, the inning ends. And we'll see if that can get the Brewers going offensively. They're down 5.
By 5, and come out to Miller Park this weekend for a continuation of the series against the Cardinals. For tickets, call 414-902-4000 or visit brewers.com. Throwing a big word at me there. Continuation.
A little out of your range.
It is. That's 5 syllables. I mean, what are they doing?
Did you just count that on your hand?
I did. Continuation.
Yes, sir. I mean, you get above 3 syllables, and you're asking a lot.
Hey, it's been 3 days.
I know. I could have warmed you up a little bit. It's good to have you back, partner. 6-1, the Cardinals lead it. We head to the bottom of the 5th inning, top of the order coming up. Good job by Figueroa, getting Westbrook to bounce into the double play, and that closes the book on Peralta. 4 1/3 innings with 11 hits, 6 earned runs. It could have been worse. But he pitched a little better than it looks, it seems. And all of those runs coming in the 3rd inning. Brewers stranding 2 last inning. Did score a run. Martin Maldonado with an RBI single. So far against Westbrook, the Brewers with a run on 4 hits. As Aoki somehow just puts a bat on that baseball. Amazing batsmanship from Nori Aoki
as he's running to first base.
I don't know how he gets a bat on the ball like that.
He can make contact on a pitch 3 inches off the outside corner while running toward first.
Makes you wonder if he would have been a great cricket player at some point. That ball's hit pretty well to center field, but back is Jay with room just shy of the track. Wrong part of the ballpark for Aoki. Well, the Powerball home run count. Brewers feel like they're in any game at Miller Park, especially after a 10 home run series against the Pirates. 5 of those came in the opener on Monday. Brewers did something that had not been done in a major league game since 1958 Monday. 5 home runs, 3 triples in a game. Also had a double.
15 games here at Miller Park before tonight. 26 homers for the Brewers. That's a pretty good pace
to go along, which is 8 home runs on the road in 11 games. 26 home runs. Well, you feel like if you're the Brewers right now, if you could scratch a couple of runs off Westbrook, get the pitch count up, and get to the bullpen, and you feel like maybe you've got a shot here. But the key is to start to put some hits together against Jake Westbrook and start to get that pitch count up a little bit. Right now, this is number 73 for him. Had 3 straight hits last inning and scored a run. And he is behind Segura, 3-1 with 1 away, and Braun on deck. Figures he's going to get a good hit to hit here, a good pitch to hit.
A good idea by Segura, knowing that Brewers need some base runners. You like to have somebody on in front of Braun. He's hit the ball hard both times up tonight.
And a bouncing ball to Carpenter at second. And there is out number 2. And when Westbrook is right, he gets a lot of those, a lot of ground outs. 23 pitch inning, the Brewers with the run and the 3 hits. So a 2-minute out here in the 5th, and here is Braun. 2 wicked line drives for outs. Deep to right in the 1st, deep to center. His last at bat in the 3rd. Braun trying to extend a modest hitting streak. Trying to hit in 5 in a row. Started in Los Angeles. Two balls, 2 strikes on Braun.
Yeah, a little cut fastball and a 2-1 count.
Two and 2, and Braun lays off. Close one. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Yeah, Braun had a couple of base hits to right field on Monday. Craig Counsell was up here talking about the fact that he's now able to take that pitch on the outer half. That's not a strike.
Yeah, Ryan Braun, such a good athlete. Sometimes, Ryan feels as though he can hit any pitch. It doesn't matter where it is, but just starting to learn a little bit more patience as he gets a little bit older in this game.
3-2 driven down the right field line. That is a fair ball into the corner. Braun on his way to second with a double, and has hit the ball hard all 3 times. That was a beautiful piece of hitting there.
Yeah, and nobody hits that pitch any better than Ryan Braun. up in the strike zone. It had to play. Look at Ryan. I mean, he is going to right field all the way, knowing that Westbrook's not going to challenge him inside. And here it is, right into your living room, down the right field line. And it's amazing how Ryan Braun not just is able to, wait back and hit that ball to right, but stay on top of it and line it in that direction. That is not an easy thing to do. Not many can do it.
Well, now it'll be Betancourt with 2 away, runner at second. And a chopper out to short on the first pitch. Kozma makes the play, and the inning is over. So the Brewers strand another one. Still 6-1 St. Louis.
Lead as we move into the top of the sixth. Our minor league report. Nashville's Kyle Heckathorn pitched 2 scoreless innings in the Sounds' loss at Oklahoma City last night. He retired all 6 batters he faced. Kyle had a rough start to his season, but the 6'6" right-hander has now turned in 3 consecutive scoreless appearances. Assistant GM Gordash told me Kyle has a good sinker. Guys, the organization likes his stuff.
At one time, a big prospect with the Brewers, trying to pitch his way back into that role. Kyle Heckathorn. Well, it's 6-1 St. Louis as we head to the top of the 6th. All 6 of those runs coming in the 3rd inning for the Cardinals. They brought 11 batters to the plate in that inning. Matt Carpenter batting for the 4th time. He has 2 more hits tonight after a 3-for-4 day yesterday. Alfredo Figueroa got a Westbrook to bounce into a double play to get the Brewers out of a bases loaded jam last inning. That keeps him in shouting distance. Figueroa's got a great arm. Spent the last couple of years in Japan. He zips one in a little bit low. Cardinals with the top of the order coming up. And a lot of confident hitters up there at the plate. 3-2 the count. He hit hard right at Weeks. Whoa, a nice play. Carpenter rips one, but right to Ricky Weeks for the first out. All right, Rock, we got a text question tonight, courtesy of Ho Chunk Gaming, Wisconsin. PJ in Barnes wants to know, where does Martin Maldonado's style behind the plate come from?
I mean, everybody is a little bit different behind home plate. I mean, I guess the question, the way it's posed tonight, everybody wants to say, well, he looks up to Yadi or Molina, which I'm sure he does, but I mean, it's like being a hitter. I mean, if you admire Albert Pujols, you can't go up there and hit like Albert Pujols. Everybody has their own way of feeling comfortable. I mean, they are countrymen. Benito Santiago was a big hero of Martin Maldonado. I don't see a whole lot of similarities between he and Santiago. Yeah. They both have great arms. I mean, they do. But his style is his, and that's something that he has developed over time, and through coaching down in the minor leagues and in amateur baseball. As much as you would like to pattern yourself after somebody, now when I grew up it was Johnny Bench. Nobody's going to be a Johnny Bench.
Now you think about Maldonado's native land of Puerto Rico. They produce some great catchers. Pudge Rodriguez and the Molina brothers, Santiago. They take a lot of pride in their catching ability. They're going to give Maldonado a lot of credit too. He's a guy that he realizes that Lucroy is going to get most of the catching and most of the innings behind the plate. He's gone out, taking a lot of ground balls at first base. He played first base in the WBC. He's starting to hit a little bit. Yeah, there's a good off speed and a strikeout as Beltran goes down swinging. 2 up and 2 down for Figaro. And a whiff at the plate. And courtesy of Head and Shoulders.
A slider that really stayed up in the strike zone. It wasn't the movement that got Beltran. It was the speed. He's out in front.
We got that great program right now with Head and Shoulders. They're on Twitter, #whiff. Each month they are making sizable donations to the winning team who has the most connections to the #whiff, courtesy of Head and Shoulders at Brewers on the Twitter handle. And each month they'll make a donation to the local RBI program for the team that has the most. So every time you see that, just remember and drop a tweet with #whiff. Great program to support a terrific baseball program locally, the RBI. And the way strikeouts are going in the major leagues now, there's plenty of opportunities to do that.
Right.
Coming off a month in April that was the second most strikeouts all time. This is throughout the entire league. And the top 8 strikeout months have been the last 8 months in the major leagues. Strikeouts are off the charts right now.
And the next question is why, right?
Not a whole lot of 2-strike approaches going on, is there?
I don't think there isn't really the stigma of the strikeout that there used to be. I mean, back in not that long ago, maybe the 80s, early 90s, you didn't have many guys striking out 100 times. Nowadays, I mean, you'll have 2, 3, maybe 4 guys on one team striking out 100 times. Everybody's looking to hit the home runs, and why wouldn't you?
Home runs pay. And a bunch of strikeouts doesn't necessarily affect your standing. Brewers have over 200 strikeouts at this point. As Holiday bounces one to Betancourt, and that's that. 3 up, 3 downing for Figaro. He done a nice job coming out of the bullpen for Peralta. 6-1 Cardinals. Brewers are coming up. Sausages. Outstanding race today. As always, look at the Brat. Brat's got a little finishing kick to him.
Yeah, the hot dog came out too strong.
Yeah. Ran out of mustard, didn't he?
I mean, that's a lot of weight to be carrying all that way.
Yes, and Brat will relish his win today as Ricky Weeks on the first pitch slaps one into left field, a base hit. I know you're with me.
That was good.
Well, hopefully that will generate a rally. The sausage races kind of have that tendency at some time. And Weeks with his second hit of the ball game.
Yep, attacking early. That's what you have to do against Westbrook. The deeper he gets into the count with you, the tougher he gets.
Brewers need a quick strike. Try to get this crowd back in it, get some noise going, and try to get Westbrook out of the game here. Westbrook sitting on 83 pitches. He's given up 1 run on 6 hits. Gomez didn't want to do it. Gomez singled in the 4th inning. Had a stolen base in that frame.
See a few more breaking pitches from Westbrook. The slider, the cutter, because the Brewers are going up there looking fastball early in the count. So Westbrook's trying to throw a little bit of a wrinkle at him.
Well, look at Molina just backhand pick that baseball like it's nothing.
Makes it look easy.
Oh man.
You know, just like Johnny Bench, you know, he never did block a ball in the dirt. He always was able to pick it backhanded and put a lot of very young catchers in bad habits.
That's
because
right.
they have great hands. They can do it. Most can't. On the flip side of that, though, Molina, one of the best in the business at getting down on his knees and blocking pitches in the dirt.
And always has his eyes on the field. He is by all means the quarterback of this team. And look at him positioning his outfielder Beltran here. Here's a catcher motioning to his right fielder. I'm not sure I've ever seen a catcher. I'm sure it happens, but I'm not sure I've ever seen it.
Trying to position an outfielder of all things. I mean, I guess everybody has their eyes on Molina.
That's amazing, right?
I know we have just about all
Yes.
night and watching what he does.
Did you ever position an outfielder when you were at the
No.
behind the plate?
No.
Did you position an infielder?
Yes.
I mean, that's kind of a regular occurrence, but I'm looking out there and Beltran's waving at Molina as if to say, all right, I'll move up a little bit. Gomez in the air to left, didn't quite get it. And Holiday makes the catch for out number 1.
A lot of times when you start moving infielders around, you're kind of tipping off the hitter as to how you're going to approach him. You move the second baseman over in the hole toward first base. What do you expect as a hitter, right? Something away if you're right-handed.
Replace a divot there. Holiday dug up a trench on his way to make that catch. Now here is Maldonado now with Ricky Weeks at first base. Got the pitcher spot coming soon, and just in case, Brandon Kinsler is getting loose. Might see Kinsler anyway come in the 7th inning. 6-1 Cardinals, all 6 runs coming in the 3rd. Brewers scored in the 4th. Maldonado takes a strike. Maldonado drove in a run with a single in the 4th. He's responsible for the only tally so far. Ball and 2 strikes on Maldonado. Hey, we want to send out our best wishes to Heather and Nick Ristow. Welcomed in a baby, Zoe Ristow, born just the other day, April 27th. The third grandchild of our stats man, Mike Faulkner. Way to go, Mike. Count remains at a ball and 2 strikes. First of a 4-game series here this weekend at Miller Park. After the Cardinals, it'll be the Rangers in town Tuesday and Wednesday next week. High level competition for the Brewers in this series and in this homestand. You think about it, the Pirates were in first place when that series began. The Cardinals are in first place starting this series. And barring a major collapse over the weekend, the Rangers will be in first place. Texas is 17-10. Brewers able to take 2 out of 3 from the Pirates. St. Louis has played very well here at Miller Park. If you go back to the 2010 season, the Cardinals have 12 wins in 24 games. And you think about how good the Brewers are at Miller Park. They have the best home record, or have had it in the last couple of years. One of the dominant home teams. And yet the Cardinals have been able to play .500 baseball here. Back to the 2010 season. That includes the postseason.
A lot of that has come recently. I mean, at the end of the season in 2011, the Cardinals were able to make their move and put the pressure on the Brew Crew.
Mike Matheny communicating with Molina. And there goes Weeks, and Maldonado takes ball 4. Now here's your chance. 2 on with 1 out. Alex Gonzalez coming up. Well, Gonzalez has some power. He's a low ball hitter too, but he's been a struggling hitter this year. This could be a big spot. Got the pitcher spot due up next. Renicky has Blake Lally in the on deck circle. Two on, 1 away. And Westbrook starts him with a breaking ball. Gonzalez swung and missed at a couple of those his last time up.
You really see Jake Westbrook starting hitters out now with breaking pitches and not so much all fastballs. Brewers going up there attacking early like you should against a guy like Westbrook.
Well, Matheny sending Molina to the mound to buy some time for his bullpen to get ready.
And 3 walks for Jake Westbrook and 6 base hits.
Joe Kelly and Randy Choate. They're going to need some time, at least 2 more hitters, you would think. Weeks at second, Maldonado at first. And Gonzalez lines one right to Cosma, and a double play to end the inning. Wow. Weeks took a step the wrong way. Inning over. John's freaky fast delivery of the game. The Brewers able to turn a couple of double plays tonight. Hadn't been a whole lot going on the positive side for the Brewers, but they have kept this game in shouting distance with a couple of double play balls. Well, a tough break at the end of that inning, Rob. Ricky Weeks just too far off the bag. Gonzalez smoked that baseball, but right to Cosma. Turns out to be an inning-ending double play.
And it just has to be safety first when you're down by 5 runs. I mean, even if you have to stay at third base and don't score, that run doesn't mean a whole lot. Ricky taking a couple of steps to third and ends up ending the inning.
He makes a great play here. Can he finish it off? He can. Gonzalez picks it out of the dirt. Outstanding play by Weeks. And a 4-3 putout for the first out of the inning. That was well done on both sides.
Yeah, that backhand one hopper. Sometimes the toughest play for a second baseman, getting up and making a throw. Good play all the way around by the Brewers. Defensively taking a rough hop. You see the second base umpire, Bill Miller, kind of covering his head, thinking that ball was going to get a piece of him, but Ricky able to grab it. And you can see Gonzalez with his foot on the bag for the out.
Well, Gonzalez has not had the best throws to deal with tonight. Had one swipe tag for an out, had one that pulled him off the bag. A chance at a third double play for the Brewers, and now this one. He's done a good job over there. For a guy who's never played the position until this season. And there's a base hit to left field by Molina. Has turned himself into a force at the plate.
And another single for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Single number 11. All of their hits are singles tonight. Had 7 of them in the third inning. The inning they scored 6 runs. David Freese now has been aboard all 3 times in this game. 2 hits and a walk. Drove in a run in the third. RBIs in that 6-run inning came from Craig, Molina, Freese, and Cosma. Craig and Cosma drove in 2 apiece. Willie Peralta ends up going 4 to third tonight with 6 earned runs allowed. And what I'm sure is going to be tough for Peralta to deal with is the fact that in that third inning he had 2 outs, 2 runners on, and at that point no runs in. Cardinals did all of that damage with 2 outs. 6 consecutive base runners in that frame. A hit batter and then 5 straight hits.
That's one thing to get yourself in trouble. It's how you were able to get yourself out of trouble, and that's what separates, you know, the young pitchers from the veteran guys that have been there and figure out a way to minimize damage. And Willie Peralta was not able to get out of that inning.
Second strikeout for Figueroa, trying to give the Brewers 2 2/3 tonight.
Breaking pitch from Alfredo Figueroa going down as it gets to home plate. Good slider. And David Freese finally making an out.
First time he's been retired tonight. That'll bring up John Jay, who has a couple of hits to the opposite field. He bounced into one of those double plays we showed you back in the second inning. (6-1) St. Louis. The Brewers have been knocking on the door in the last 3 innings and only managed the 1 run against Jake Westbrook. Matheny had his bullpen up last inning, and his bullpen stays active here in the Cardinals half of the 7th. So you wonder if Westbrook is done for the game. We'll see. Pitch count still in pretty good shape for Westbrook. Looking ahead to the bottom of the 7th, the Brewers will have the pitcher spot and then the top of the order. Bouncing ball, Ricky Weeks over to first for the out. Tip your hat to Alfredo Figueroa. Gives the Brewers 2 2/3. That could play big come tomorrow. A bullpen saver today for Figueroa. By the Wisconsin Lottery, reminding you to please play responsibly. And by Miller Lite, it's not just a good time, it's Miller time. And by Joseph A. Bank. Dean Roscoe, the organist here at Miller Park. He's one of the best in the business. I think Dean's going to be breaking out some ABBA a little later tonight. Some rally music, right?
I mean, how can you be in a bad mood when you bust out some ABBA? Dancing Queen?
No kidding. Good call.
That's just happy music.
Here's Joe Kelly. Joe Kelly out of the bullpen. Interesting that Matheny pulls Jake Westbrook after 6 solid innings tonight. He exits with a chance to win this game. Only his 2nd win of the year. And the hard-throwing Joe Kelly comes in for St. Louis.
Having a rough time of it. 1 walk, 7 strikeouts. ERA around 8. And Kelly was in the running for that starting rotation. Shelby Miller beat him out. The guy that replaced Kyle Osh in the Cardinal rotation. Kelly's had his problems in the pen.
24-year-old right-hander. California native Joe Kelly. Can't be an easy transition to go from a starter to a reliever. He's facing Logan Schaefer to lead this inning off. Schaefer pinch hitting. He's trying to get something going. Kelly is coming off an outing against the Pirates where he allowed 4 earned runs in a 1/3 of an inning. And Schaefer, oh, what a stop at second by Carpenter, and Schaefer beats it out. Bang, bang play at first base.
Wow.
That was a tremendous play by Matt Carpenter, but Schaefer too fast. It was close.
Second baseman showing some pretty good athleticism going up the middle. Ricky Weeks, now Matt Carpenter. A 1-hopper, both of them able to handle it. This time Schaefer a little bit too fast, and he beats it.
Digging hard for that infield hit. Yeah, Carpenter thought he had an out. So Logan Schaefer now 4 for 12 this year as a pinch hitter. And for his career, he is now 9 for 23. He's hitting .391. That is impressive for a young player who's been an everyday player throughout his minor league career.
Trying to figure it out, being a bench player. Brewers continue to rack up the infield hits.
Aoki takes a strike. 1-1 on Norichka, who had a double in the first inning. Brewers down 6-1 as Aoki sends one to left. Holliday was shallow. He's drifting back, and Holliday can't make the play. A ground rule double. They'll stop Schaefer around third base. Holliday was so shallow and just totally lost that baseball, and Aoki is going to be on with his second double of the game.
And we've seen Aoki do that quite a bit more early in the season, driving the baseball to the opposite field. That Holliday looked as though he had a beat on it, but as he got close to that wall, kind of gave up on it. And a ground rule double for Aoki. So the Brewers have something cooking. Joe Kelly's problems continue coming out of the bullpen.
That is certainly a weakness defensively for the Cardinals, a team that is one of the better defensive teams in the league. It's not an error, but certainly a play that a left fielder should probably make. But Holliday took a bad route, got turned around, and when he looked back up, had no chance. Well, now you've got the best hitters coming up with runners at second and third. Joe Kelly cannot be pitching with much confidence right now.
And you figure that leash is going to be pretty short. Surprised that he's still in there.
His outing lasted 20 pitches against Pittsburgh over the weekend, and he gave up 4 earned runs. He got just 1 out. Segura to right field, and that is right at Beltran. This is going to bring a run in. Both runners will tag. What, another line drive out. It's 6-2 now, but the Brewers got to be wondering when some of these line drives are going to fall.
Yeah, Brewers have had a number of those. Ryan Braun himself has hit 2 of them. Gonzalez with a line out to short. Now Segura.
Sac fly and RBI for Segura. Makes it a 6-2 ball game. Aoki advances to third base with 1 out. And here is Braun.
Hey, you wonder what's going through the mind of Jake Westbrook as he sits on the bench. He's seen this happen before. Leads evaporate.
Now, the only lead that didn't evaporate for Jake Westbrook is the game that he finished himself when he went the distance. A guy who came into play tonight leading the league in ERA, but just 1 win to show for it. Brewers would love to make it another no decision for Jake Westbrook. Well, important to pick up this run here with 1 out. Aoki at third, and Braun is down 0-2 now. Brewers are getting their hits. They have 8 of them tonight. Three of the last 4 innings, the Brewers have had at least 2 runners on in an inning. Braun down 0-2. And down he goes on strikes. Well, that's a tough one there. Joe Kelly strikes out Braun with a runner at third and 1 out.
97 miles an hour on the fastball to Ryan Braun. So saving his best for Braun. That pitch middle in was supposed to be away, and Ryan swings right through it. Threw it right by him.
Well, 2 gone now. 6-2 Cardinals. And here's Betancourt. A first ball swinger at the plate. And he takes a strike. 97. Boy, Kelly is dialing it up. That's the thing about Joe Kelly. We saw him last year. He looked like he was going to have a great chance to be a mainstay in the starting rotation. He made 16 starts last season, but lost that job out of spring training. The Cardinals have so many good young arms. Kelly was bitten by the home run bug last year. He allowed 10 home runs in 24 games, 16 starts. Which is a lot for a sinker baller. A power sinker. Probably a better way to put it.
Yeah, throwing 97. Well, you can see why, perhaps. I mean, he gets a little bit wild and has to come in with a fastball. And at this level, you're down 2-0, 3-1, and these hitters are going to be able to turn them around.
Kelly's already given up 3 home runs this year in a little over 9 innings. Ball and 2 strikes on Betancourt. Aoki over at third. And did that hit him? Down goes Uni B. And Tishner pointing to first base, so a hit batter. No call right away. I was thought for a moment he had called that a foul ball, but a hit by pitch.
Yeah, got him right on the elbow, or right on the forearm area, around the wrist, and those are the ones that can keep you out of lineup for a while. You see it. Ouch.
Right off the wrist. At least it was a glancing blow, but still at 97 miles an hour. That one has to sting a little bit.
That got the wrist, and then it got Molina in the mask. And the Brewers now with a long ball. Ricky Weeks coming up. Make it interesting.
Well, pitching change for Matheny.
And the Cardinals did all of their damage off of Willie Peralta in the 3rd inning, but the Brewers rallying here in the 7th, managing just 1 run off of starter Jake Westbrook. And tonight on our AT&T Twitter poll, we asked Brewers fans which pitching matchup are you most looking forward to. 26% are eyeing tomorrow's game, Kyle Loesch against Shelby Miller. 46% that marquee matchup, Giovanni Gallardo against Adam Wainwright. And 18% Marco Estrada and Jamie Garcia. And Brian, Kyle will go for his first win against his former team tomorrow after falling short in St. Louis just a few weeks ago.
Yes, indeed. And you know he would love to return the favor to the Cardinals. And Loesch looking forward to that matchup. Mitchell Boggs is on the mound, and from one struggling pitcher to another out of Matheny's bullpen. And he steps into a hot spot here. Runners at the corners. Aoki at third. He doubled. Betancourt was hit by a pitch. And now Weeks with 2 outs. Brewers down 4.
Yeah, Boggs started the year as the closer for the Cardinals. Now he's in the 7th inning. Last appearance against the Pirates, gave up 3 runs in 2/3 of an inning.
It was part of a 9-0 loss at the hands of the Pirates. Brewers are a swing away from making this a 1-run game. In there for a strike, like a slider from Boggs. Started the year as the closer, had a blown save in just his 2nd outing. 2 saves, 2 blown saves, and he took a loss. Matter of fact, he took 2 losses. Not a whole lot good going on for Mitchell Boggs, who was filling in for Jason Mott. He got the first chance to be the Cardinal closer. Little half swing, a foul tip, and now it's 1-2 on Weeks.
Another hard thrower out of that Cardinals bullpen. The slider at 88 miles an hour. He throws good. Takes more than just good stuff to be a closer.
Brewers handed him one of those blown saves in that comeback win on April 14th. A run is in for the Crews. 6-2. The 1-2 to Weeks. Count evens at 2 balls, 2 strikes. A lot of sliders from Boggs in this at bat with Weeks, and that's pretty much the game plan against Ricky Weeks. Ricky tonight has 2 hits. He's 2 for 3. Had a 3-hit game and 5 RBIs earlier on the homestand. The 2-2. Down and out. Full count. And you know Weeks is going to get something to handle here. Boggs does not want to load the bases and bring the tying run to the plate.
Well, he hasn't given him a fastball in this at bat to hit. It's been all sliders. He's been trying to get him to chase.
A lot of thinking going on here. Boggs and Weeks. You can see the wheels churning. Molina making the call for the breaking ball. It's a gutsy pitch. 3-2. Runner goes. Weeks lays off, and Boggs misfires on the slider. And the tying run will come to the plate.
And Jake Westbrook is grinding away in that dugout. Pitching a dandy. The Cardinals take him out, and it's been nothing but trouble since. Well, now the Brewers have the tying run coming to home plate, and it's Carlos Gomez.
Derek Lilliquist, the pitching coach, out to talk it over with Mitchell Boggs. Maybe a little bit of a stall here is Trevor Rosenthal, the hard thrower, just now starting to get loose. You figure Boggs has at least 1 batter to face here.
He's just lost all confidence in his fastball. I mean, he threw nothing but sliders to Ricky. Tried to get him to chase. Nothing even close, really. And Weeks being patient at the plate. Well, you know one thing. If this is a first pitch fastball, Carlos Gomez is not going to take it.
This crowd is ready to roar here. Two outs, bases loaded, tying run at the plate. We play in the 7th. Gomez, the hottest hitter among the Brewers. Way outside. That was a fastball at 95, but nowhere close. Got a feeling this is Boggs' last hitter regardless. Either gets him out and the inning ends, or Matheny goes to the bullpen. Rosenthal is ready. See if Gomez makes him throw a strike. Or is he swinging away if he gets one he can handle? Has 5 home runs this year. And that one missed. 3 balls, no strikes. Three and 0 with the bases full, and Gomez swings away.
All 4. Boy. Looks like Boggs very happy about that swing. That was out of the zone.
Oh, that is a break for the Cardinals. I'm surprised Gomez took a hack there. 3 and 0. He has not shown he can throw a strike. The 3-1 right in the middle of the plate, and now it's 3 and 2. And Boggs has plowed his way back.
And it's been all fastballs to Carlos Gomez. Or does he dare throw the slider?
I was just thinking the same thing.
Right.
In the last 3-2 count, Molina wanted the slider. What does he give him? Runners go. And a bouncer foul.
In the slider.
Well, Gomez has been drawing more walks this year than in recent seasons, but he's still a free swinger at the plate. Runners get a head start. Tying run up there. The 3-2 down in the dirt. A bases loaded walk. And the inning continues. It is now 6-3 St. Louis. And I can't imagine Boggs pitching to another hitter.
A 7-pitch at bat for Carlos Gomez. He got ahead in the count 3-0, all fastballs, none of them close. And then he does Boggs a favor on this 3-0 count. Got it to 3-2. He fouled off a slider, a good slider. And then Boggs misses down the strike zone for ball 4, 95 miles an hour. And the news tightens for the Cardinals here in the 7th.
Well, you got to wonder where the Cardinals are going with Mitchell Boggs. Matheny has to make another change. We'll set up the new hurler when we come back. The Brewers have 2 in. They have the bases loaded. And Matheny having to make his 3rd change of this inning. He goes with the hard thrower. The last time we saw Trevor Rosenthal, this happened. 8th inning, April 14th. Ryan Braun goes deep. That snapped a 32-inning scoreless streak. Rosenthal giving up that home run. And now he's on to work here with Maldonado coming up. The change is Descalso at second and Rosenthal on the mound. That moves Carpenter over to third base.
Already Rosenthal's 16th appearance this year. 15 2/3 innings, and he's racked up 20 punch-outs and has been pretty good.
He hits triple digits at times. Martin Maldonado, bases loaded, 2 outs, and a first pitch strike from Rosenthal. If you're wondering, Maldonado does have a grand slam in his brief big league career. He did that last October, right at the end of the season against the Padres. The tying run at first. Go ahead, run at the plate. And an excuse me swing from Maldonado, and it's quickly 0-2.
One thing Rosenthal does, he throws a lot of strikes. He's walked 4 guys and struck out 20.
He was big for the Cardinals in their postseason run last year, getting his first chance in the big leagues. In a hot spot here, 0-2 to Maldonado, and Martin backs out. Not a big sample size, but a lot of success with the bases loaded. Brewers needing a big hit. The 0-2, and that one's up high out of the zone. He didn't bite.
96 upstairs, and Maldonado able to lay off.
Two very young players in just their second year in the big leagues, matching up here. And now Molina on his way out.
You know, it's like having a coach on the field. Molina going out, maybe having a discussion about a pitch. Does Rosenthal want to try a slider and speed up the bat of Martin Maldonado? He's thrown the fastball by Martin.
Now for Rosenthal, this is only his 35th game in the big leagues. But he's already been in some pressure-packed situations. Did not allow a run in the postseason last year in 7 games. The 1-2 and a swing and a miss. Maldonado strikes out with the bases loaded, and the side is retired. But the Brewers get into the bullpen. They score twice, and they have made it a game again.
And Wednesday, May 8th is a Time Warner Cable Customer Appreciation Game. Bring last month's Time Warner billing statement to the Miller Park box office for a buy one, get one free terrace ticket offer.
Well, on our way to the 8th inning now, and it's going to be Tom Gorzolani for the Brewers. Trying to keep the Cardinals at 6. Milwaukee getting 2 in the 7th inning. And getting to Matheny's 8th inning pitcher in the 7th. Rosenthal did a nice job. He struck out Maldonado with the bases full, and the Brewers only able to muster up 2 in that frame. Gorzolani's been outstanding out of the Brewers bullpen this season.
And picked up a win on Tuesday against his old team, the Pirates. And pitched an inning. Struck out a batter. Did not allow a run. Has been unscored upon in 12 of 14 outings this season.
Brewers signed him to a 2-year deal this offseason. He pitched for the Washington Nationals last year. And his effort in his last time out when he earned that win against the Pirates was really the turning point in the game. Gorzolani was able to get a double play. And the Brewers were able to come back to win that one. Pete Kozma will lead off for St. Louis. Cardinals scored all 6 of their runs in the 3rd inning. Brewers with a run in the 4th. Maldonado drove in a run, just scoring 2 in the 7th. The Brewers have left 10 men on base tonight. They've had their chances. Kozma, center field. Gomez on the run. He's there. And there is out number 1 for Gorzolani. Check the game summary as we play in the 8th. Brought to you by Toyota. 6 runs on 7 hits, all with 2 outs in the Cardinal 3rd inning. Jake Westbrook went 6 innings. Gave up just 1 run. And is in line for the win, but his bullpen has let him down before, and I'm sure he had some nervous moments in that clubhouse last inning as the Brewers had runners everywhere.
And the Cardinals had 7 at-bats with men in scoring position in the 3rd inning. They were 5 for 7, and since that 3rd inning, they're 0 for 1. So Brewers pitchers have been able to keep the men off bases.
Got to give a lot of credit to Alfredo Figueroa, who not only keeps the Cardinals down, but he's able to give Renicky 8 outs in this game, 2 2/3. As Descalso pops it up, his first at bat, and there is out number 2. Well, a reminder that this copyrighted telecast is presented by the Brewers, may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent of the Brewers. Where's Craig Counsell when you need him? He was our designated copyright reader.
Really?
On Tuesday. He said it was the first time he's ever uttered the word disseminated.
I believe it. Well, he's in the ballpark somewhere. You might have to call him back.
Just put it on tape and we could just have him say it.
Right. How'd he do?
He did good. He read very slowly and was very patient with the copy.
What did Augie read?
Augie declined.
No reading?
No reading. There'll be no reading during the broadcast with Augie. Craig Counsell and Jerry Augustine joined us on the air for a couple of days. Filling in for Rock. We made them all do all kind of stuff. A lot of hazing going on here in the booth. Carpenter out to Braun. And Gorzolani keeps it rolling. That's 13 out of 15 scoreless outings this year for the left-hander. 6-3 Brewers down. They're coming up
Augie, this might be the bullpen that they can get some runs late against.
Yeah, if there's one area that the Cardinals have struggled this year, especially on the road, has been with this bullpen. They're 0-5 with a 5.77 ERA. Brewers have been getting guys on base. They might get that opportunity.
All right, they do pick up a couple of runs in the 7th. Let's see what they can do the rest of the way. We've got Brewers Live postgame coming up later, Brian.
All right, Craig and Augie, thanks. Brewers are going to have to do it against a couple of guys that have been very good in that Cardinal bullpen. Rosenthal and Mujica, who is now the Cardinals closer. But Rock, Matheny didn't want to have to go to Rosenthal in the 7th inning. He's been typically their 1-inning setup man in the 8th.
He's just trying to figure out a way to get some confidence in the middle part of his bullpen. These guys have really not been very good so far this year. And I guess if you want a turnaround in your bullpen, you've got to go to him. And if you can't go to him in a 5-run lead, when can you?
Right. Yeah, and it was an early hook for Joe Kelly and the same for Mitchell Boggs. As Gonzalez cuts and misses. 2-2 the count. No secrets with Rosenthal on the mound. He just brings that blazing fastball. And usually he throws it on the outside part of the plate.
He got Maldonado on a 98-mile-an-hour fastball to end that 7th inning. Think about Rosenthal. He throws very hard, but rarely walks anybody. That's a good combination.
Now, Rosenthal made his major league debut against the Brewers last year. He's only 23 years of age. Pitched in 19 games a season ago. This is number 16 this year. So a lot of questions going into the postseason about the Cardinal bullpen. And Rosenthal was one of those guys that gave him a lot of hope going into this season. He had 15 strikeouts in 8 postseason innings last year. Maldonado, or rather Gonzalez, right up the pipe for Molina, who makes the play for out number 1.
Didn't even bother taking his mask off. Just a walk in the park for Yadi or Molina. Makes it look easy. And the thing I guess that concerns you about Rosenthal, and I mean he's already pitching now in his 16th game, and this is the 28th game for the Cardinals. I mean that's an incredible pace for a guy that throws as hard as he does.
And tonight Matheny is asking multiple innings out of Rosenthal, and this is going to be back-to-back outings for Rosenthal, pitching across 2 innings. He went an inning in the 3rd in his last time out against Cincinnati. Blake Lally pinch hitting. 2 for 6 off the bench for the Brewers this season.
He threw Lally a changeup. That isn't fair. 86 miles an hour. And he backs it up with 98. Wow. This guy's got it going on.
That's something. And Lally, little tapper. Rosenthal, Molina. Miscommunication, and there's a break for the Brewers. Rosenthal called off Molina and then decided he should have let the Gold Glover have it.
Yeah, pitcher just got to back away on that play. Molina on his horse. He's able to get there, and you got it, I take it. One of those two. I don't know. Who wants it? Nobody. That's a base hit.
Well, the Brewers will take him any way they can. They've had a lot of lineouts in this game, but that one is a gift from the Cardinals. And a bit of inexperience from Rosenthal. So back to the top of the order now, and Aoki.
And the Brewers now 2 for 2 on the bench, both of them infield hits.
Schaefer and Lally. Schaefer smoked his to second. And Lally will tell you tomorrow that he smoked his too.
Did a good job just putting a bat on it. That was that changeup again.
Well, the Brewers have the right guy at the plate, Nori Aoki, to see some pitches. If Matheny's concerned about the pitch count of Rosenthal, Aoki is a guy who can stand up there for a while. Shoots it to second. And it's bobbled, and everybody's safe. Oh, my goodness. What a gift. Daniel Descalso commits his 5th error of the season.
Well, one of the few Cardinals that have had a difficult time defensively. You talk about a room service double play ball. Never had it in his hand. Just kind of trickled out and kicked it. All hands up safe. And now the Brewers in great shape to tie this one up.
He certainly had a chance to turn to. It would have been close with Aoki running, but a gift again by the Cardinals. And now Segura, one gone, tying run at the plate. Just overmatched with a 98-mile-an-hour fastball.
Yep, right on the corner, a little bit off, and Segura a defensive swing.
No balls and a strike, and there's strike 2 right on the edge. And he's reaching back for a few extras here. That one looked a little outside, says Segura.
Umpire saying it sounded like a strike.
Fox Tracks had it outside as well.
Hard to see him when they're coming in that hard.
Segura down to the count, 0-2. 99 with the fastball. Now do you dare go to an off-speed pitch here? It's not your best.
He's got that great changeup though. Segura was right on that fastball.
Do it again. Another 0-2 pitch with 2 on. And down he goes. Segura. A swing and a miss. 98 with the heat.
Yeah, climbing the ladder on him. Impossible to get a piece of a pitch coming in that hard up there. Let her high, and it looks good, but it's not good for you.
And now a rematch. Rosenthal against Braun. It was Braun who homered in the 8th inning in St. Louis a few weeks back. A 2-run home run to right field, and that was on a 98-mile-an-hour fastball. Tying run at the plate in Braun. And that's back up the middle and a base hit. In to score is Lally. Aoki on his way to third base. John Jay was standing on the warning track. And Ryan Braun delivers in a big way. It's an RBI single for Braun, and it's now 6-4 St. Louis.
Yep, and Ryan Braun able to get a base hit on a 99-mile-an-hour fastball from Trevor Rosenthal. I'll tell you what, you're not going to see too many base hits on a pitch that coming in that hot. Here it is, inside, even off the inside corner, making it even more difficult. And as you mentioned, John Jay at the warning track playing no doubles, and Blake Lally able to walk home from second base. And Aoki gets the third.
Think about Braun's night tonight. The first 2 balls that he hit, wicked line drives that went for outs. Then he had a double to right in the 5th, and then able to muscle one back up the middle here to drive in a run. That's the way the game goes. And now the Brewers with 2 on, they will put the tying run aboard again. The go-ahead run coming to the plate, and it'll be Uni Betancourt. And as much as Braun would love to steal second base in a spot like this, Yadi Molina all but shuts down a running game. You know Betancourt is going to be up there to hack. Uni B has 7 home runs this year. 6 of those have come here at Miller Park. Coming with a fastball. And he misses. And now you got to start looking at the pitch count for Rosenthal across 2 innings.
Yeah, 25 pitches for him. Bettencourt likes the fastball. He can get the bat head out. Run the big velocity. He's got to make sure he gets it down in the strike zone.
Only once has Rosenthal thrown more pitches than he has tonight. That resulted in a blown save. Uni B chased one.
Yeah, got to lay off that. Tough to do, though, especially when it's want to start that bat a little bit early.
This is the 3rd time this season Rosenthal has pitched more than an inning. One and 2. 98 right down the middle, but with a lot on it. And now Bettencourt is in a hole. Check on Braun at first. Tough spot for a hitter. Odds are against him, especially in a 1-2 count.
Yeah, good spot to maybe try and run here. Maybe steal a run. Guy at third has good speed. Aoki.
Back to the fastball, and Bettencourt strikes out. So Rosenthal gets out of the inning but surrenders a run. And the Brewers chip it away. They're only down 2 now. Now 6-4. Brewers have left 12 on tonight as we head to the 9th inning, and tonight's shining moment is brought to you by Marshfield Clinic. Nori Aoki with a pair of doubles tonight. Pulled one in the 1st inning and then went to the opposite field over the head of Holiday in the 7th. He's been on base 3 times in this game.
Only extra base hits of the night for both teams.
Now, don't forget Brewers Live post game, the instructional tonight. They'll break down the techniques and strategies of the game. And what do you have coming up tonight, Rock, in the post game instructional?
You
haven't been briefed?
I have not been briefed. Normally, Augie will come in and we'll talk about it. But from what I gather in the truck,
yes,
little birdie,
or the big birdie in this case, the big bird named Wave.
Communication.
Oh, good. Well, that's something that's right up your alley. You do it every night.
It's catcher-pitcher communication.
Nice. Here's Burke Badenhop. Speaking of catcher-pitcher communication, why don't you communicate to us about this pitcher?
A lot about a lot of the communication, catcher-pitcher is nonverbal. We see that with Yadier Molina quite a bit. We saw that with Peralta and Martin Maldonado. And Badenhop, a good sinking fastball. And he has been pretty good this year for Milwaukee.
Bouncing ball right back to him. Beltran retired. Now Badenhop, in his last outing yesterday against the Pirates, had a perfect 9th inning. He picked up a save in St. Louis. The game the Brewers came back to win on that Sunday. A dramatic comeback for Milwaukee, scoring all of their runs from the 8th inning on. Lucroy had the home run that won it. Well, Badenhop came on and finished it out. As a matter of fact, he retired Beltran for the last out to win the game. Holiday, big cut, fouls it away. If you're looking ahead to the Brewers' 9th inning, Ricky Weeks will lead off. 2 hits and a walk tonight. Carlos Gomez after that. He's got a hit and a walk tonight. And an RBI. And then Martin Maldonado, who has 2 hits and an RBI. And they're going to have to do it against the newly placed closer for the Cardinals, Edward Mujica, as Badenhop spins a breaking ball in there for strike 2 on Holiday.
I don't believe I've seen a pitcher as active as Burke Badenhop, bouncing around, and he's got a lot of enthusiasm. There's a front door slider to Matt Holliday. He didn't like the call.
Badenhop very animated. Stalks around the mound.
Comes into that dugout after an inning. He's the cheerleader. He gets the guys going. I like it.
And a swing and a miss. Holiday strikes out. 2 up and 2 down for Burke Badenhop.
Throws a lot of strikes. He's only walked 1 batter so far this year from Milwaukee. And look at the way he's motioning to his infield. There's that sinker, had a lot of the plate up in the zone, but I think that front door slider that he threw to him earlier in that at bat got into Holiday's head, and he's able to get him with the fastball.
2 gone for Alan Craig. Strike 1. St. Louis had a 6-0 lead after a 6-run 3rd inning. Brewers have had a ton of base runners. Been able to wrestle 4 runs off the Cardinal pitchers on 10 hits. Every hit for the Cardinals tonight, all 12 have been singles. 7 of them came in that 6-run inning, and all of those with 2 outs. All of the runs and all of the hits. There's the new closer for the Cardinals, Edward Mujica, who is 6 for 6. The original plans were for Mujica to be the 7th inning pitcher for St. Louis. 0-2 to Craig.
And now the closers, who started out as the closers in the 7th inning, the 7th inning guy, now the closer.
Yeah, Brewers know all about the disrupted bullpen. As good as Mujica has been for St. Louis, same goes for Jim Henderson with the Brewers, who is 6 for 6 as well. Bullpen's done a great job tonight. Figaro 2 2/3, just 1 hit. Gorzolani had a scoreless 8th inning. And now Badenhop. Two and 2. Little broken bat. Segura's got it. And the stage is set. Brewers down a pair. Ricky Weeks will lead off. 6-4 St. Louis. All for the Brewers here. Don't forget you can log on to foxsportswisconsin.com. Andrew Grumman covers the Brewers, also covers the Bucks, and he's got an interesting story about who the Bucks might bring in to coach their team after Jim Boylan was asked not to return. Badenhop still fired up in the dugout. He went a 1-2-3 ninth, and it gives the Brewers a chance here, down 2. And the Cardinal closer, Edward Mujica, is on to work.
Yeah, Badenhop got out of the inning, and now he's a cheerleader in that dugout. Mujica 6 for 6 in save opportunities so far this year. And before he took over as a closer, he had 4 career saves, 2 with the Padres and 2 with the Marlins.
There you go from the power of Trevor Rosenthal to the finesse and the split finger fastball of Mujica. And he has a good one. Ricky Weeks will start it. The base runner will bring the tying run to the plate. The Brewers have stranded 12 base runners tonight. They've had runners everywhere. Brewers have had at least 1 base runner in every inning with the exception of the second. Right now this game still belongs to Jake Westbrook, who went 6 innings and 1 run. Peralta is on the hook for the loss, 4 1/3 with 11 hits and 6 earned runs, and all of those runs in the 3rd inning. One and 2 to Weeks. You got Weeks, Gomez, and Maldonado. If anybody gets on, Alex Gonzalez due to hit. Remember, Renicky still has Jonathan Lucroy available. Did not start this game, available off the bench.
You like to save Lucroy if you can for an at-bat with a couple of men on, maybe tie it up or take the lead. The Brewers need a base runner.
2 and 2 to Weeks. Mujica deals. And a fly ball deep right field. That is back at the wall, and Beltran makes the catch. Just missed it.
And waiting for it. I'll tell you, this Cardinal defense, particularly the outfield, very, very deep, and they've been that way all night. There's that split-fingered fastball that stayed up in the strike zone, and Ricky Weeks didn't quite catch it on the sweet spot and took Beltran all the way to the wall and right. Just missed it, and he was waiting for it. They're playing deep.
1 gone, and here comes Carlos Gomez now, who drew a walk with the bases loaded his last time up. Into left field, and with that deep outfield, no chance for Holiday. So the positioning helps him on Weeks, hurts him on Gomez.
Yep, now your tying run comes to home plate.
Another multi-hit game for Carlos Gomez. 2 hits and a walk.
Yeah, that deep outfield has helped the Cardinals a lot more than it's hurt them tonight.
Martin Maldonado gets another crack.
He got it down on the handle just a little bit to Gomez, and as deep as Holiday is out there, no way he's going to get there.
Tying run at the plate here in the 9th. And Maldonado, a little anxious, chases that splitter. Martin came up with an RBI single in the 4th inning. Had another hit in the 6th. He struck out with the bases loaded to end the 7th. Rosenthal struck him out with a high fastball. If you like to think ahead with a manager, there is a spot available with Gonzalez on deck. You could hit Lucroy. Easy maneuvering defensively to put Maldonado over at first. Lucroy to catch. Maldonado hoping to give him that chance. And a liner down the left field line. Oh, just foul. Maldonado just got out ahead of it.
Yeah, Mujica leaving that split-fingered fastball up in the strike zone, and he was taking some pretty good hacks at it. Well, maybe a foot. There it is again, and look where it ends up. A little bit below the belt and just hooks it foul.
Well, the Brewers have been so close on a number of occasions. Been right at the edge of coming up with a big hit. Down 2. Maldonado the tying run. Gomez goes, and a strike called on the outside corner as Gomez steals second base. But now the Brewers down to their last out. So for Gomez, that's his second steal, but Mujica catches the edge.
Well, Yadier Molina decided to give up the stolen base. Run doesn't mean much. Instead, he stayed very silent behind home plate, very still, and got the call in the corner.
So now it is Gonzalez, and doing all he can to try to get Lucroy to the plate, who would hit next if Gonzalez can extend the ball game.
Well, check it out. I mean, Gomez is taking off, and instead of moving around and trying to be quick, jumping around back there, he gives the home plate umpire a good look at this strike. A strike 3. That was a decision that he made when Gomez took off.
Knowing that the most important run is the one at the plate. Alex Gonzalez. Brewers down to their last out here in the 9th inning. Lucroy waiting to hit next. Lucroy had the game-winning home run in St. Louis back on the 14th of April. 2-0 to Gonzalez. Mujica earned his first save for the Cardinals on the 18th, right after the Brewers left town. He's racked up 6 saves in a short amount of time. Gonzalez, center field, base hit. And this is going to bring home a run. RBI single for Alex Gonzalez. And the Brewers put the tying run on. And the potential winning run will come to the plate.
And Jonathan Lucroy, and as we predicted, you save him for a big spot. A nice at bat for Alex Gonzalez. He got a split-fingered fastball once again up in the strike zone. Well, he's having a tough time with that pitch. And he lines it right back into center field. Once again, the Cardinal defense extremely deep, giving up the run. protecting against the extra base hit. And of course they're going to be deep now.
Josh Prince will run for Gonzalez. Very fast. He represents the tying run. Jonathan Lucroy announced as the pinch hitter. 6-5 Cardinals. The Brewers have scored 5 unanswered, and now a chance. Lucroy pinch hitting. And a strike to Lucroy. Well, Lucroy in St. Louis. Maybe one of the bigger hits of the year and one of the bigger, more improbable comebacks of the year. A 10th inning home run to give the Brewers the lead. A lead they would not give up. That started a 9-game winning streak. One of his 3 home runs this season.
It's going to be awfully difficult for Josh Prince to score on anything that stays in the ballpark, with given as deep as this outfield has been playing, and they are even deeper now than they have been, trying to cut off those gaps.
And does Prince dare try to steal a base here with one of the best in the business behind the plate? One thing about Mujica, because he is a split finger pitcher, he does have a propensity for wild pitches. There are a lot of those splitters that end up in the dirt.
He's been hanging most of them tonight, though.
The 0-1, Lucroy fouls it back, and it goes to 0-2. Lucroy is a pinch hitter, hitting .308 throughout his career. Tonight, the 3 pinch hitters are 2 for 2. Started with Schaefer and then Lolly. And now Lucroy in that 9 spot. There's the tying run. Brewers down to their last strike. And a throw to first. Prince is just back. Yikes.
That'll keep you close at first base.
Oh, man.
Even if you don't pick him off, you know it's in his head and he's not going to get such a big lead.
Think about the risk that is involved in a throw like that. If that gets by, he throws it away. That puts the tying run in scoring position, but Molina's so confident. Here's the 1-2. And Lucroy strikes out. The ball game is over, and the Cardinals hang on. A valiant comeback, but the Brewers come up a run short as Mujica is now 7 for 7 in save opportunities. And he went to his bread and butter to do it. So the Cardinals win it 6-5. Westbrook picks up his second win. Peralta the loser. And number 7 for that man. We send it out to Craig. It's time for Brewers Live. What do you have coming up, Craig?
Well, Brian, another tough loss here at home for the Brew Crew. A valiant effort. We'll talk about it and how they came back in that big 6-run third inning by St. Louis off Willie Peralta. And we'll hear from Brewer players inside the clubhouse, plus our instructional, all on the way on Brewers Live.